you know, you're living this insane life, 21 to 22. You know, you're experiencing kind of like early taste of like what it's like to have something that I guess really a lot of people will never have.
I got drawers full of hundreds all over my apartment.
Right.
I'm going out to clubs. I'm paying off all the security guards where I never have to go in line. I have
you
a
say that.
So
I want
yeah, it
details.
was.
Like,
I mean,
what
I
are
was
the,
Let the
what's
people
this
know
life
what
that we
levels.
probably have never
like
seen?
I had just
ourselves?
watched Iron Man and I saw Tony Stark had an Audi R8 and I was like, I want that. So I drove right over to Peoria Audi. I have $200,000 in my glove box. I was like, I'm taking that car. Like he lets
He's like,
me
well,
in.
fuck, come on in. Why
Yeah,
you ain't just
so-
say that, man?
So,
Shit.
so like we were flying on jets. Like we went to Black Friday at Mall of America just so I could take my girl at the time shopping. I just paid for the entire bar's drinks. I get a tab for like $187,000. I'm like,
So
okay,
you had
like,
just-
what are we talking about? I don't drink alcohol, but my second drink of alcohol ever on this planet was the world's most expensive shot. I took it. So,
Ironic.
yeah, so
Ironic.
I was making about $600,000 a day. Didn't really understand that rich people ain't no different than broke people. Like they're not some mystical figure that's like larger than life. Like somebody's like I'd never really understood that. I had like
So in that moment, everything's going great. At 22, you said that was the end of the run.
living a lifestyle that a lot of people would dream of, but in all reality, it was more of a nightmare. Because everything I was doing was things I shouldn't have been doing.
My beat it coat, white Adidas, fuck the plug, girl, I got what you like. I'ma bring that to the C to swipe the visa. I love when that bitch be coming around, but I don't need a no.
Third grade on my head.
What's the radius? Kim? I gotta see
fitness
it.
since
Like,
third
at
grade.
what point are you in trouble?
Crazy.
Like a Lego.
Just grew into my shit.
He got Legos on top of his head, boy.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out like how the radius. Can we just get a quick?
This one.
We live, baby.
We live, man. All right, look. Getting straight into it. I don't want to get all the way straight into it, but I do want to know, like, when we first met, Billy, we were talking about some of these crazy highs that you had in life.
Yeah.
And you experienced life a little bit different than your average 21-year-old. So, it was 21, right? Your junior year?
21, 22 years old, yeah.
21, 22. So, what was this run like? What was this year like?
I mean,
What were some of the crazy things that you experienced? What were some of the obviously the people too acting a little bit different based off of your success at the time? What were some of these things that you've seen during this time?
So going back to 21, 22 years old, at the highlight of it, I was making about $600,000 a day. And I was
600,000?
flying out
600?
$600,000 a day in my pocket.
Yeah.
Cash.
A lot of it was crypto, but
Real, okay.
yeah, we were making a lot of money, and I was, living a lifestyle that a lot of people would dream of, but in all reality, it was more of a nightmare. Because everything I was doing was things I shouldn't have been doing.
Word.
So
Which we've all been in some things that we shouldn't have been doing, but it's like, you almost have to do some things, unless you don't see. A lot of us don't see the just a bunch of abundance of opportunities around. So sometimes we fall into things where it's like, yo, this is what I know, this is what I'm around. That's accumulated a certain life that I'm looking to live.
What had got you into those things, if I can ask that?
I was a student athlete, and I was living off of my student check, $3,500 a semester.
understand. Okay,
So
So you like, I gotta go big real
Yeah,
quick.
I couldn't really hold down a job other than a Saturday night security guard. Ironically, was the place we're at right here. So that's I'm making 12, 15 bucks an hour, 1 to 2 nights a week, and it's just not a sustainable life, especially with the amount of food I needed to eat for football.
Yeah.
All my training all day, things like that. I was living, off of Top Ramen and peanut butter. So a buddy of mine had just texted me out of nowhere before practice one day. He's like, "Hey man, want to make some money?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, like
We
of course
all
I do."
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't really understand what I was getting into at that moment, because I did not see that person being about anything like that.
Right.
He was actually going to school to be an FBI agent of all things.
Isn't that some
So
ironic?
yeah. So
Ironic.
so anyways, we got into that, and life started taking off to levels that I didn't believe were possible.
When
because,
when you say that,
So,
I want
yeah, it
details.
was- I
Like,
mean,
what
I
are
was-
the
Let the
what's
people
this
know
like
what
that we
levels.
probably have never
like
seen?
I had just
ourselves?
watched Iron Man and I saw Tony Stark had an Audi R8 and I was like, I want that. So I drove right over to Peoria Audi and put one on order, paid it cash. I was like, okay, I want that new Iron Man car.
Shout out
like,
Tony Stark.
you know, like so.
Were you
there was
still
that,
living
and-
at like the dorms type
No,
thing?
I was living
or-
at West 6 on Mill Avenue.
Okay, so you had a
yeah.
spot at W6.
Yeah, I lived there, and yeah, I just I don't know.
What were your peers like at
I
this
was
time?
just about to say, like, what was you
Like,
was,
when
you
your-
was
when
playing
your
college
homie-
ball, bro, like
When your
Yeah.
homies are saying you pull up in R8 and they see you got a spot at W6.
well, no,
at
I never
21.
got delivery of the R8.
you on scholarship?
That's
Okay,
what,
okay,
it was
okay.
being it was being built. And I was supposed to receive delivery in May of 2012, but I didn't make it there. But yeah, I just like at the time I was driving a BMW M6 2009 carbon fiber package final edition. They ended up bringing it back in 2013, but it was supposed to be the final edition of the M6. So I got waxed on that price. I paid 96 grand for that. But I remember going to the dealership and the guy pulled my credit report and was like, "Oh, maybe we can get you in a 1 Series." I was like, "No, I want that car over there on the showroom floor." And he's like, "Well, I don't know if that's gonna happen." I was like, "I have $200,000 in my glove box." I was like, "I'm taking that car. Like, what are we talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like, so he went and got the
Money
keys for me.
talks. Money
Exactly.
talks. Fire,
And yeah,
fire.
I actually had a membership to NetJet, which was the first fractional ownership private jet membership through Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. I mean, there's JetBlue, all these other ones now, but back then was NetJet. It was $120,000 for the membership. You got 35 hours of flight time, I believe. You just had to pay for fuel and maintenance. So like we were flying on jets. Like we went to Black Friday at Mall of America just so I could take my girl at the time shopping. Like,
See, that's that. And
dumb
at
stuff,
21,
like-
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of
That's
people,
insane.
All America is lit.
they can't even fathom. You know what I'm saying? Like, let alone, yeah, you have a nice car, maybe a spot to stay, but like, you flying on jets.
Man, there was nights we'd go out to Old Town Scottsdale. I'd just pay for the entire bar's drinks. I'd get a tab for like $187,000. I'm like,
So
okay.
you had
Like,
just turned 21 at this time, or you?
I
were
was
like-
21, about to turn 22 around this time. yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
You had a little bit of club experience at this point in time.
Yeah. Like, but
You trying to
obviously it was
ball
just
out.
like little
You
bars
in there
on Mill
balling out.
Avenue, and I
Right,
had 20
right.
bucks in my pocket, and then. Yeah, a whole different world opens where, like, you know, I'm taking. I don't drink alcohol, but my second drink of alcohol ever on this planet was the world's most expensive shot. I took a drink called the Oh No at Club XS at the Wynn for $10,000, and I actually bought 2 of them just because I dressed like this always: tank top, basketball shorts.
Is that worth it?
Huh?
Was it worth it? The shot?
I thought it was disgusting. Yeah, like I don't
mean,
like
I don't know.
alcohol. Like,
Right now, my dog
but-
said it was nasty.
yeah, it was some Louis the 13th. It came with cufflinks, these platinum
hey,
like
look,
cufflinks
look.
or whatever. I gave them to some girl at the club,
Look,
but
you gotta fuck these
I
cufflinks.
went up to the bartender to order the drink, and because they didn't want to let me in the club because I was dressed like this. There's a dress code. I told the dude at the door, I'm like, hey, I'm just here to order the Oh No. I was like, I'll leave, and he's like, oh, okay. So he lets
He's like,
me
well,
in.
fuck, come on in. Why
Yeah,
you ain't just
so-
say that, man?
So
Shit.
he lets me in.
Fucking doing all this talking, man.
And then I go to the bartender, right? And the bartender, I go to him. I'm like, hey, I heard there's a drink called the Oh No. I want to order one of those.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, that's a $10,000 drink, right? I
Hit
was
you
like,
with the. Why are you?
oh
asking?
my God, really? Is it? All right, give me 2. And bought 2 of those. So
He tightened up real quick.
yeah, like
bro,
I like
Got
his
to.
face, like
That's
Yeah.
fire.
Gotta
though.
humble people sometimes, man, because they'll come at you like you a little dog.
Yeah.
You really
Facts.
living your life out here.
Judge-
Whole
judging
time
you,
it's
you
like,
know?
no, I actually want the entire spot to myself.
yeah.
If you're okay with that,
tough.
you know what I'm
tough.
saying?
Yeah.
How were your like going back to the peers? Like, you know, you're broke as hell, and then you start getting some money. Like, were your friends acting different? Was it like people
so
dick riding, and it's
I
like all of a
started-
sudden?
I started noticing that money does change the way people perceive you. I never let it really change me at all. Like I've just always kind of been consistently the same person.
Right.
I've never really been a person that goes with what everybody does. Hence why I don't drink, never did drugs. I have like a philosophy in life that if everybody's doing something, do the complete opposite. Because 99% of people in this world will never succeed. So if you do what everybody else does, you're gonna end up like everybody else. And that's always been one of my biggest fears.
And you had that mindset at 21,
Yeah,
22.
I've had that mindset since I was 17 when I
Word.
like just really started changing my whole life and the way I was and things like that. I just was like, I started realizing that. But I did see that once I got to where again I got drawers full of hundreds all over my apartment.
Right.
you know, I'm going out to clubs. I'm paying off all the security guards where I never have to go in line. I have a table rented at every spot in Old Town and Mill Avenue. Even if I'm not going out there that night, I just have the table paid for just in case we decide to go there. So it was like now everybody was on me, like thinking, who am I? What's this guy doing? How does he have all this? Fuck, 21 years old out here. More money than anybody around. Like, 'cause there's a lot of people that act like they got money, but they really don't have money.
They be acting like they got it, but don't got it, man. What's going on, man?
So that was like, I really started seeing that. And then being from, you know, a trailer park, growing up poor, I didn't really understand that rich people ain't no different than broke people. Like, they're not some mystical figure that's like larger than life. Like, somebody's like, I'd never really understood that. I had like a certain stigma when it came to rich people because I grew up around poor people.
Yeah.
The only people that was making money in my hood was dealing drugs. So I didn't really realize that the only difference between me and a person that's got a lot of shit is they went and did something about it. Simple as that. So that's, and they when I'm around these people, they were like enamored by me. They thought I was brilliant. Like, what are you doing? This guy, like, this big dude walks in here, all the confidence in the world, talking about this and that. And it's like, I'm like, these people, they just got money. They ain't nothing special.
Yeah.
So that's when I started realizing, that it's not really that you got to be something like, you know, like a super genius Elon Musk, like inventing video games at 3 years old type shit. You can just, you know, do whatever as long as you just do it and jump out there and try it and go for it. And people spend their whole lives planning and never try. And it's like, that
is a fact.
That's
Really,
where dreams go to die, is the
right
planning phase.
Well, they say you plant too much, God's gonna laugh at you or something like that.
There you go.
I just saw something like that. Yeah. So
Man.
I like that. So once, okay, so, you know, you're living this insane life, 21 to 22, you know, you're experiencing kind of like early taste of like what it's like to have something that I guess really a lot of people will never have. So in that moment, everything's going great. Family, friends, or everyone's in love with you. You know, you're able to go and travel and do whatever you want to do. At 22, you said that was the end of the run.
Yes.
So 22, that was when you had initially got caught for these things that you said that you were doing.
Yes.
And what was that moment like when it was like, what was it? They kicked in your door? Was it like they gave you a phone call and said, hey, we need to speak to, what was the situation?
I got arrested in Vegas.
In Las Vegas. What were you doing in Vegas?
So the plan was originally, because the whole reason I bought the membership to NetJet was so I could fly private. I had two identities. That the identity for NetJet was under a name Jeremy. So
Shout out Jeremy.
yeah. So I was gonna, because we figured if shit ever hit the fan, we're gonna go north, because they'd assume, okay, if they're gonna run, maybe they'll go south, Mexico. So we were gonna go north to Vegas. There's private jets always in and out of Vegas, so it's easy to get a flight. Like, you can get on a jet real quick in Vegas. So the plan was go to Vegas, fly to Brazil. In Brazil at the time, I don't know if it's still like that, you had either put $35,000 in a bank account or get a local girl pregnant, and they won't extradite you.
no extradition.
So that was the plan, was just to fly down there with my new passport.
Yeah. Because
and-
you wasn't going to get somebody pregnant over there at the time.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so we that was the plan originally. And then it didn't work out, clearly. So yeah, that was why I was in Vegas. But at the time I'm up there on the run, and I had a partner that was supposed to come, but he's like, they're not after me, they're after you. And I'm like, dude, stick to
You're
the
like,
plan.
fuck you,
I was
bro.
like, yeah, I was
I thought
like,
we in this.
exactly. I'm
Right.
like, we talked about this for months. Like,
Right.
stick to the plan.
Man.
And he, so finally I convinced him to do it, but he ends up going to work the next day at the bank that we had just robbed. And he gets arrested. So, at that point I'm like, well, I can't leave because I need to bond him out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're stuck. So then my girl at the time, she's like, well, could I go say bye to my family before we leave? Because I'll probably won't see them for a long time. I'm like, yeah, sure.
I guess.
She goes back to West 6. What are you doing? Like, at the time, I had the penthouse in the place. You click the 22nd floor, it's my apartment.
Right.
So they have security and cameras and everything. You don't think somebody's watching this place. She goes there, goes in, comes out. FBI is in our little foyer. So she gets arrested. So then I'm like, well, now I got to turn myself in, because I just was
It's
like,
a
I
whole
can't
messed up
have her go
situation.
down for
Yeah,
it and all
yeah.
that, because she didn't really do nothing. She
Of
just
course.
dated me.
Right.
And so that's when I decided I was going to blow the rest of the cash I had with me before I turned myself in. That's where the shot came. And then, like, 'cause I had like 860 grand in my backpack, I think.
You had to blow that.
Yeah, I was just,
What'd you buy? Like the shots?
I mean, dude, we did the most. Like, we did the most. Like, I went to the strip club with bricks of 20s and set them on the table at Sapphires and told all the girls, just take whatever you want. I was
Right.
like, I don't even care.
You don't even gotta
And
dance. Just
Honestly,
vibe.
yeah. And this is the whole time I was getting a lot of money, I had a girl. So I didn't really understand how women act when a lot of money around.
right.
I started getting head right there in the strip club at the table. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, what is going on?
Hey,
Yeah,
it be like
it
that
was
though, bro.
just-
When
I
you
was
getting
like,
that money, man,
whoa.
money changed
'Cause,
the
I mean,
world.
I just dropped like
man.
80
Money moves
grand on
mountains.
the table. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It was the craziest thing. And I was like, wow, okay. Like, that's really what's going on here. And then, so after that, because I had a bartender from Planet Hollywood that was kind of like my tour guide in a
Right.
sense. Because I went and sat at the bar that day when I had decided that I was going to turn myself in. And I'm like, hey, man, you're from Vegas, obviously. What would you do if you had a lot of money you wanted to blow? Like, what would you do? He's like, what do you mean? I said, I just hit on roulette, bro. I was like, I just cracked him, and I want to blow all this money before I go back home to the East
Now.
Coast. And he's like, how much we talking? I was like, man, I take out my backpack. I was like 800 grand. And I showed it to him. And then he's like, hold on one second. He walks off, goes and talks to his manager over there. And I'm like, getting
What did I
spooked
just
now.
do?
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
like, are they gonna rob me? Are they calling the cops? Or what's going on?
Right,
Because
right.
I'm already on high alert, and I'm like about to bolt. And he comes back over and takes off his apron. He's like, can I roll with you? I was like, yeah, bet. I was like, okay.
Hey, bro, I'd have been in there like, well, hold on, brother. I know a couple spots.
Yeah.
You might could get something going today.
Fuck this job,
I'm out
man.
this bitch, man.
Yeah,
Go. Welcome to Break, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Heat Advisory Podcast. You know,
Look, man, you are tuned into the Heat Advisory. Follow us, turn the lights on, subscribe. You know where we at. Yeah.
welcome to the Heat Advisory Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially on episode 3. I am your host, EA Jones, and today we got the Heat Advisory with us. So who we got?
Your boy ST Dub Khalid.
Oh
You know what's
yeah,
going on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Double F, man. It's Floss Flav, Camo, you hear me?
What's going on? It's your boy Cangelosi.
Now listen, man. For episode 3, we had to do it. We had to do it the right way. So listen, today we have a very, very special guest with us today, man. Before we even introduce this man, I just want to give a couple little tidbits about this man. When I first seen him, look, this man, he built like an NFL lineman,
Facts.
but he hustled like he the Wolf on Wall Street.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He on the verge of disrupting 2 of the largest industries in the world, financing and sports betting, all right? This man is soon to be $1 billion man coming straight out of Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we have with us Billy, the CEO of Game Changer Markets. So, Billy, let's just get a little round of applause for Billy real quick, man.
Thank you.
Billy, let me ask you something. How you feeling today? You here on the Heat Advisory Podcast. All vibes is good?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Okay. What made you, like, what kind of had you interested in the Heat Advisory? Just curious.
I just like that it's based upon Arizona, like
Fire.
in the network you're trying to create out here of people who have succeeded out of this place. I think it's a untapped market of talent, and
Yeah.
I believe that you guys are on the right path with that.
I love
sir.
it.
We
That's
appreciate
fire.
that, man.
When I first met him, bro, I swear, like, cause you're telling me, I first heard about you through Amir and Athir.
Yeah.
Shout out to Habibi Genetics.
Shout out Habibi.
Habibi was actually a sponsor of Heat Advisory for our main showcase back in October. So huge shout out to Habibi. But when we were doing our food review for Hazumi Hibachi, they were actually giving us some quick insight on like what they were investing into. So like, yo, we have, we've actually been, putting a lot of money into, this project with this one dude who is basically changing the game of sports betting. It's more investing into your favorite team's sports performance. So when I'm hearing this, I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's fire. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like
good.
a really good idea, but you're just throwing ideas out. And it's like, okay. When I first met him, Khalik had set up the meeting for us. and we pulled up to Lux. That's like one of our spots that we like to
That's our
vibe
go-to.
at. Lux Central.
Lux
Shout out to
Cafe
Lux
vibe.
Central.
Shout
out Lux,
Shout out Lux for sure.
So I'm walking up, and I'm hearing the name Billy. I'm kind of thinking about like, okay, finances, sports betting, like you're getting like a certain image of what this person may look like. So I'm thinking he's like, I'm thinking a white guy.
Glasses.
I'm thinking, some glasses, mid 50s, little comb over, maybe missing a couple follicles.
Hi, how are you?
William. You not
Hi, how are
thinking
you?
Billy.
Missing a couple follicles in the front.
I mean, I am bald. I'm just saying,
But when I walk up, bro, Khalik's sitting out there, and I'm like, who the hell? I'm like, maybe he just got into conversation with somebody like as he pulled up. He's sitting down vibing and shit. I'm like, yo, what's up, Leak? Let's have. He like, oh yeah, this Billy right here. I'm like, so Billy, I'm like, this thing, he big as hell. First off, I'm like, okay, so he stands up. He like 6'8" and shit. I'm like yo, hey, look. I'm like, yo, what's happening, bro? Like, nice to meet you. But we sit down, you know what I'm saying? And Billy he really ends up being like a really intuitive, intelligent person, you know what I'm saying? He passionate. And it really made me gravitate to not only his personality, but him and obviously his business of what he's on the verge of doing. So that was like my first impression of him. When I seen him, I'm like, yo, bro, you played in the NFL or something? Like, what's the catch here?
I think mine, bro, I was the same shit. I was like, yo, I asked you, I said, you had to have played football or something. Like, you had to have played some type of ball.
He's a wrestler or something. He
anything.
wrestled.
And then when he was talking, like you said, when he was talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like this is something. Like, I don't know.
We've got some and he's got some.
Exactly.
Huh?
So like, let's elaborate that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my first expression. I was like, or impression.
We were so excited. I remember when we initially heard the idea, but it seemed far-fetched from as far as the connecting the dot goes.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you mentioned meeting him, I was like, oh, bro, see if we can like sit down with him and,
I was
and
too lit.
see if we can make some. Yeah, bro.
I was
We were
lit.
literally like, this is fire, bro. Like, let's help. Let's see
Yeah.
if we can get
Yeah.
this. Let's help
Yeah.
push this agenda the best we
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What was your first impression? Because you guys, met Billy.
Yeah, I met him at Pete's
past
Purpose.
weekend. Pete's
Yeah,
Purpose.
Where I was filming like our podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. So I was just kind of listening in as he was talking to people about it. You know what I'm saying? And during our interview, so I was just like hearing like, okay, $1 billion, and you know what I'm saying, the sports betting and disrupting the industry as other people are learning about it, I'm learning about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad that
is
y'all
this?
put it together because I'm like, this is something we needed to get a part of. You feel me?
Exactly.
So, like, I'm all for it. I'm glad we linked up. It's perfect.
Fire.
I would say really my first impression was based on the conversation that we had, because I just met bro today, and he just seems like a super intelligent, informed guy that's just been studying a lot of what he's showcasing to you guys today, man. And I'm super excited just to hear like what goes into this and what it took to get here.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, I guess we can get straight into it.
Let's get straight into it.
I think we just dive into it.
Let's get down into it.
So, let me ask you something, Billy. I guess I can answer this question, but it's like, why are you here today on the Heat Advisory podcast? I'll tell my version, but I want you to also give like your version as far as like what you do. So, we wanted you on the podcast because you're on the verge of, like we said, I would say you have to disrupt the game to change the game. You know what I'm saying? I think you are on the verge of disrupting, like you said, two major industries that aren't really used to merging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where the disruption comes in, because it's like sports betting and finance. Yes, there's money that's being transitioned in both, but it's like merging the two is something that nobody has ever thought about.
Yeah.
Why? Good question.
Well, the reason is because I was really into options trading when I was younger. I thought options were great because
What is options for people who don't know?
okay, so whenever you trade stocks, there's stocks where you actually buy the companies, and there's options which you purchase contracts that let you control the stock. So in essence, you can buy a stock option contract on Apple at say $610.
Right.
Say Apple's trading at 605. So you've bought a right to buy Apple at 610 for a predetermined amount of time, let's say 90 days. So anytime in the next 90 days, I could buy Apple for $610. It's currently trading at 605. Obviously, you're not going to pay 610 for it when it's at 605.
Right.
But let's say Apple goes to 620. Now I have the right to buy it at 610, $10 below market value. So I have $10 of intrinsic value built in there.
Got it.
Now that's the way options work. But I've always seen options as essentially gambling because at the end of that 90 days, if Apple has not went above $610, you just bought air because your contract expires. You no longer have a right to it, and Apple never went over the price point, so it was worthless. So I never understood why that is not considered gambling.
Right.
But you look at a money line sports bet that I bet on the Dodgers to win this game, and instead of 90 days, I have 3 hours that at the end of this predetermined time, the Dodgers need to have more points than the opponent, is what I'm doing. It's basically a binary option, just like the stock market, but it's gambling. So then I was like, okay, well, why is that? Like, why can't these two coexist? Why can't this be viewed as the money line market is the option market to an underlying stock market, which is what I've created. So,
yeah. And it's crazy because that's why I asked you, like, what are options and all that? Because even me, I've never been the biggest into, like, stocks, crypto investing. Although it's a lane that I want to dive into, I'm sure we all probably want to get into that bag. So it's good to know.
Well, and that's the thing is, so most people would love to be involved in the stock market. A lot of people would like to be day traders. They would like to invest in companies, but people don't know how to evaluate a company, check like the earnings per share ratios, the quarterly reports. It's like most people know as much about Apple is that Apple makes phones and they use it. Right. That's the extent that they know.
Truth.
It's kind of like if you didn't really know much about sports, but the Dodgers throw baseballs. That's the extent of your knowledge.
Yeah, they're pretty
good. Yeah, exactly. It's
pretty good.
Dodgers,
They're throwing pretty good. Right.
But that's the thing is that it's like, so you don't really even have to understand sports to play in my market because people don't know anything about companies and their 401ks and retirements are in things they know nothing about. So in essence, a lot of people understand sports more than they do companies. So that's why I wanted to create a market where you can use sports knowledge or even just, simple risk analysis positions that you can invest in a very transparent market instead of pure speculation of when you buy Apple, you don't know what it could go up. You don't know what it could go down. It's all unknown. There's no predetermined, if this happens, this is the result. And that's where in sports and the market that we've created, you have a gain, you have a risk, and you know that if they have a higher score than the opponent at the end of the game, they will get the gain. If they have a lower, they will lose the risk. Very simple, transparent, easiest thing in the world to use.
Simple but genius, man.
And that's usually the thing, bro. Like, it's usually the things that, like, you're like, why didn't I think of that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's always the thing that's like that $1 billion idea. And that's what I feel like you're on the verge of, like I said, soon to be a $1 billion man, because it's like, when you're able to disrupt industries like that, and then also make it very simple, like you know what I'm saying?
We wanted a third grader to be able to use it, but a 50-year-old to be able to retire on it. That's the way we looked at it.
And that's cool because that's a big thing of what we promote at the Heat Advisory for the culture, from the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because it's different when you see people that you know or people from a city like yours expand and just capitalize on these big things and big endeavors that you didn't think was possible.
And speaking of like impossible, because it's like a lot of ideas and creations is they when you think of a dope idea and you're like, wow, this could be a good idea, and then you kind of get into it and you're realizing like the things that go into it, and you're like, damn, this is a lot more. Like when you were thinking of this idea, was it like this could be a little far-fetched?
Yeah, because there was a lot of problems along the way. Like I came up with the idea in 2015. I mean, we're in 2024 now, so it's been and I didn't really have everything ironed out until about 2019, 2020, because there was a lot of nuances that were problematic about how
laws and
like
ordinances,
not
and
even necessarily laws, because I
systems?
hadn't dived into that too much. It was just more how can I make a market work that does not take life of its own. For example, like if I create Bitcoin, I can never control the price because Bitcoin is going to go up, going to go down. It's going to do whatever the market does. We needed a way to also make it to where the price of the team doesn't move unless they win or lose a game. it doesn't take a life of its own. So that was a problem. I'm like, how can I do that? Because how do I say that people don't buy the Dodgers and then people want to pay them more for the Dodgers because they want the Dodgers too? Like, the price had to stay static to where money couldn't push
money
prices.
Could be driving the price of that team, and it's like messing up everyone's opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
So there was that nuance. And then how do I stop, like, say a team like the Detroit Pistons this year were like 3-39 or something. How do I stop that from zeroing out? So that was another nuance of how can I create an algorithm that's going to make the price not go to zero? Because if a team keeps losing, the price keeps going down. How am I going to stop that? And then whenever I got into the laws, then I realized the entire project was impossible because of United States Code Service regulation on if you gain or lose anything of value based upon the outcome of a sporting event, it falls under betting or wagering. So then I would need gambling licenses. So at the time when I came across that, there was literally no way in the world to make the idea. So that's why it's never been done. But enter blockchain and NFTs, and that's where we eventually figured out a loophole around the legislation. But
I want to almost sidestep because we're almost speaking in a space where it's like some people, like when you think of an idea, it's like that. It's like, how do you even create a market?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like let's dumb it down and be like, so outside of like, unless I feel like unless you kind of grow up around that or you really like throw yourself into like studying that,
Yeah.
like you would almost think of it as something very foreign. So
100%.
I'm assuming you had some, we'll get into this, but pre-knowledge on it for you to kind of say, you know what, I want to merge these two markets. In order to do that, I need to create a new market where these two can exist and be their own thing. But like, I'm trying to think, like that's like a crazy to fathom thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was again, like it was just I jumped out there because I had traded options a little bit for a couple months, so it's not like I was an expert in the stock market or
So
anything like that.
so you dipped in it to kind of, was it like, all right, I need to kind of learn this, or was it just something you were
it was more
interested
so
in?
I had a cover story of why I had so much money. That was why. That's where.
So you're like, I kind of need to do
Yeah.
this to get a little
so
game,
if
so it
somebody's
looks
like,
the part.
dude, what do you do? I trade stock options. So I learned,
And it's easy. It's like,
Yeah.
and they're like, I don't fucking know about that, so
yeah,
good
like
for
especially
you.
when you start throwing like, well, whenever you check the deltas, and then if the gamma and the time value premiums decay, and then your theta,
Thanks.
and they're like, okay, well, good luck,
good luck, right?
Exactly. So it's just shut people down real quick.
And that's what I want to gear this podcast because there's a lot of people who are very hip to what you're doing, and there's a lot of people in a market that's untapped who have no idea.
Yeah.
Who are like, what market are you talking about?
It's an option.
Yeah.
What is an option? So that we're gonna try to dumb it down as much as
Yeah.
we can. Well, not dumb it down, but dummy it down as best as we can. So
Well,
that way
that's- and
people
that's-
can really understand how they can,
That's-
as
and
regular
that's-
people like
exactly.
us, can jump in this world and hit big.
And that's how we branded. Like our branding is the average Joe stock market.
I love it.
You just need
a 3-year-old.
Yeah, you're like, okay, there's a price, and that's what it can go up, and that's what it can go down if they win or lose the game.
I love it.
Very simple.
I love
Like
it.
we made it like so user friendly. It's insane.
Yeah.
So this next segment, we're gonna get more into Game Changer Market.
Yep.
I want to dive into exactly like how this idea got created. I want to honestly get some insight on your upbringing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's
So we can all get an insight of like, we're all entrepreneurs as well, and we all want to be successful and be able to financially take care of our people and create that generational wealth. So I think it's important that we uncover some of these steps. You know what I'm saying? To figure out, maybe some people who are watching and be like, dang,
How do you
it
really
started
do
with an
that?
idea.
Yeah.
Then he took action on this thing. Then he applied this. Then he connected the resources. So we'll dive more into that on this next segment. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Famous, what's up? It's the Heat Advisory Podcast. We are officially back with episode 3. We are with Billy, the CEO of Game Changer Market. He's an individual who's on the verge of disrupting 2 major industries in the world. And I want to start, like, honestly diving from, like, the beginning. Where did you grow up? What was your upbringing like? What were your parents like? That type of situation.
Well, I was born here in Phoenix and on 24th Street in Roosevelt.
Give him some ding, 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 ding. A Phoenix native, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
For those
And,
watching, you local in
we love it,
Phoenix,
bro.
be inspired. But okay, go. Continue.
And I grew up in South Phoenix. I
Cheers to you, my boy.
lived with my grandparents and my mother for the first few years of my life because my dad was in prison. Then he got out when I was, I believe, 5 or 6.
What did he go to jail for, if you don't mind me asking?
I believe at that time it was for silencers.
Oh, word. He was
yeah.
like selling them or something?
I think he was holding them for some gangs or
Got
something
it.
like. Yeah, he was into all kinds of stuff.
Got it.
So
So
yeah,
you didn't have it until about 5?
yeah. So he came out when I was about 5, I think, 5 or 6, and then so he got out and started a construction business, and then things were going really well.
Were you close with your dad?
Yeah, we were close.
Play football in the park and shit and all that?
Nah, not like that.
What was that
'cause I-
vibe like? What was your relationship?
It was just, I don't know. I mean, we were close, but I didn't really. I was more close with my mom because like she'd been there my whole life. He was my dad, and I respected him and looked up to him, but it wasn't like he still
Y'all
had-
talk and let's go get ice cream and type
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
I
Like
got you.
yeah.
That makes sense. And so you were very close with your mom, and you say you stayed with your grandmother, right?
Yeah.
And so, what were your friends like around this time? Like, this is let's just say, from when you were born to, let's just say, probably you're about a kid to 11,
Yeah, I was
12,
12 probably. yeah.
12. So before middle school, you were in South Phoenix. What you said off of what, Roosevelt and
No, I was living on 41st Ave in Southern.
so that's South Phoenix.
Yeah.
What were you doing? What were you were you playing with the kids at the park? Were you riding
Yeah,
your bike
yeah.
around? Were you playing
Bicycles
baseball?
and
Yeah.
Pokemon,
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh, you know,
I feel you, I feel you.
marbles. I don't know.
Was you an inside cat or outside? Was you outside playing
No,
around, or was you inside?
I was outside when I was young, but then when I got an Xbox, it was like game over. I just I didn't see the sun for 6 years.
Funny,
No.
you look like you was born in the gym, my boy.
I was gonna say, look. So have you always been this size as a kid, or what?
No, actually, sophomore year of high school, I was like 359 pounds and couldn't do a push-up. Yeah,
Sophomore year of high school, you was 359
yeah, I
pounds.
could
Like
not do a
obese,
push-up.
almost.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
so
yeah,
not you probably
I'm
what,
300 right now.
Wait,
but
so
okay,
were
I
you
wear it a
playing
lot
football
better.
at this time?
No, I never played sports. I
all
didn't
up
play
there?
football until I was 20. Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, okay, so
Okay, that's like
okay, so you're young.
Yeah.
You're kind of on just normal kid stuff. You might play the video game, probably go outside, play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you said were you obese as a kid too? So you said in high school you were about 350, but were you that same?
I wasn't overweight till probably about 6th grade.
So what happened from 6th grade to then?
Video games. That was literally then.
Bad
video
diet,
games,
bad diet.
Oreos and waffles. Like,
all them kids that just playing them video games. Get your ass up,
Get
go
outside.
Yeah, go
throw on
outside,
that
man.
bike.
Ride the bike, go throw the football, man.
That's what you need to do.
Stay
And
off
let's get
that
off
Fortnite,
Fortnite.
young John.
Let's
man.
put this
Get
in
off Fortnite.
perspective. Around what year is this?
This was 2001 or 2. Like,
Okay,
I was
okay,
like 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so then you transitioned from, kid, life was good. You said, and then you move into your young adult life. Or no, I'm sorry, teens. Because then you move into a teenager about 6th grade, moving into 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You said you started getting obese with people making fun of you and stuff like that at the time.
Yeah, but like
We're real
Yeah.
people are ruthless, bro.
Yeah,
Especially
kids are crazy.
kids, bro.
Exactly.
Especially kids.
So
Bad, bro.
I had a real good personality. I was friendly with people, and so I was
Social.
popular, and
Okay.
so it wasn't but there would be the jokes of fat ass, and
Right.
I'm like fuck you,
Like,
It's not funny.
yeah, I
But it's
know,
good though. But it's
No,
good though, because some people really take that to heart, and then some people are like,
Well, yeah,
man,
there's
fuck
people.
you,
There's
right?
people that crumble under pressure, and there's the people that thrive in it. You
Okay,
know?
so
And
you
that's-
was
that's
already
where I didn't really care enough at the time because, especially when you're in 3rd grade, you like a girl, but it's not like you don't like girls, really like them, And then you kind of get to that age where you like girls.
You like,
And
I might
then
actually say what's up to you.
I'm
now,
and my problem was I was a fat, shallow kid. I wanted the baddest.
Shallow
and,
how?
yeah, and I was obese, so none of the girls that I like me. I'm not.
You know
all
the
that-
crazy part
you
though.
had good taste, man.
Hey, you want to know
Yeah.
something? Hey, look, tell me this is not true. It's always, no disrespect to anybody, But it's always the questionable fellas with the baddest though. You be like, damn, you must have a hell of a stellar personality, fella, because you know what I'm saying. So all right, I feel it. You
Yeah,
was
so-
shallow a little bit, but
little
you did want
piece
some
on
bad
you.
shit. I like
Yeah, so that was where I was like, man. And then so like I had a couple friends that were really attractive, and I'd be like, I like you. They're like, well, I like you too. I'm like, okay, does that mean you're my girlfriend?
Yeah,
No, you're my
yeah.
friend. Like I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like
That's how
and
it
then
works.
so yeah, I actually quit drinking soda because of one girl that I told I asked. She used to bring me a soda to Spanish class every day.
What's
And
her
then
name? Shout her
her
out
name
real
was
quick.
Stephanie. She's
Yeah,
redhead.
shout out
Shout out
Stephanie, man.
Stephanie.
Real talk.
I called her Heffany though.
Look at Billy now.
So yeah, she used to bring me a soda to class every day, and then when I told her I liked her, and then she said she just likes me, just not like that. I never drank a soda again. The rest of my life.
Cancel all
Where-
that.
Where's Stephanie now?
Yep, never drank a soda
Where's Stephanie
again.
now? Is she obese? Where's Stephanie now?
I don't know, probably in the hood somewhere in South
gonna
Phoenix.
see this.
Obese drinking, obese drinking pop. That's
Oh,
what
she's
she's
drinking Diet Coke, drinking Diet Coke.
So we go through that little, that
It's
little
love.
nervous stage. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
starting to, grow into your young teenage.
Yeah.
Now you entering high school. What's the vibe? Like, what's the household like? Who's in the household? What are your friends like at this time? What are you into going
So,
into high school?
Especially not playing sports. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah,
can't.
what are you
well,
doing?
so I did do baseball when I was young, but like t-ball and then little league, and then I stopped playing baseball whenever I got into video games. And then when I got to high school, again, I didn't really care about any athletic things, any sports, anything like that. I'm not into it other than playing Madden. Like yeah, that's cool. Like
And video games at this time is like PS1, PS2.
yeah, I had the
type shit.
Xbox, the original Xbox. Like
Okay,
yeah, it was
okay.
like,
That was that
yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
That shit was
Halo ruined my life. No,
Halo was
but, hey,
One.
Halo
I
and Grand
was-
Theft Auto definitely was
man.
bad.
I got a
bro.
question. By the way, I'm
Yeah.
saying, well, like, was Halo like the start of like really the
Call of
Fortnite
Duties
and Call of
and
Duty
Xbox
games and shit like that?
Xbox and Halo were like that's where video games became like what video games are.
Yeah,
like
I
that
feel
was
that.
that
I
was-
remember that
yeah.
era too. I was like young as hell, going crazy on that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I was just mostly into that. And then when they gave me a PE class sophomore year, I freaked out because I knew you had to do push-ups and sit-ups to pass the class. And I knew for a fact I couldn't do a push-up. And
You couldn't do one at the
I couldn't do
time?
one. Could not do one push-up. And I knew
over 300 pounds,
That's
bro.
350.
and
okay.
like I was like skinny fat. I had real skinny arms and legs, and then fat as shit. Like it was like I was like lanky fat.
Were
like,
you still tall? Like,
Yeah, I
'cause
was
you're-
still
how
tall.
tall are
Do you have a
I'm
picture?
6'6".
6'6".
My mom has a picture. I gotta find one.
gotta
Yeah.
get the
Get a
Yeah,
picture.
we
Pop
gotta
this
get
up.
the
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, we
yeah,
gonna put the
yeah,
picture
yeah.
right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Showcase
Yeah.
the transformation out here.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting because, like, honestly, me, bro, entering into high school, like, that was when I started, was like, I need to get a bag. Like, I need to get some money because there's things that I like. Now we're at this point, we trying to get some girls and we
Yeah.
trying to enter into this. Well, I want to go to the mall and I want to do this. And I don't have the money.
Yeah.
So at that time, it's interesting because, like, that's why I always try to see, like, where people's heads was at because I was already on the verge of, like, yo, I need to start hustling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because my mom and dad may not be able to get these shoes that I want that are $350. So I need to figure out a way to get them. So did you experience that at all?
So
Or was that later?
Because when my dad got out and he started his construction business, we were doing really well. He ended up building a house in Levine, like 4,800 square foot house,
Right.
so he was doing good. But the problem was he was also doing bad and ended up going back to prison. So
What was he doing back? What was he back?
just back into because he just was in the gang life, the drug life, all that
gotcha,
stuff,
gotcha.
So, he, I didn't really. I had every pair of Jordans you could possibly want, because again, I'm the only white kid in my school, so it was like, I'm into J's and jerseys and like all the like hip hop culture shit. Yeah,
Urban
like that was
shit.
my vibe, right? So. He just always made sure I had all the new stuff. Anytime new J's dropped, I got them. So he really took care of me. But then when he left, now then I'm 15, broke his shit again.
And you're looking probably for that guidance too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's
'Cause
just-
14, 15, we going through that real, you got to get checked by your mom
real
and your dad.
pivotal
For
moment.
real.
Was that like a
Life.
motivation for you to like start thinking outside the box into the things you do now? You know,
Not
what I'm
even
saying?
necessarily because so I didn't really have direction in life. I just because again I didn't really have goals or a direction or things that I wanted to do other than play video games. That's what it boiled down to at that time in my life. Is I just wanted to go through the days. I didn't have like I was living in just the moment. I wasn't thinking about tomorrow. So that wasn't really on my agenda. I liked nice things, and I've always looked at like supercars and wanted stuff. But I had no idea how I'd ever get something like that. I was I wasn't born out of the right body to have this stuff.
What did you see that made you like it clicked? Something clicked for you.
Watching a
Like,
movie or something?
Was it a movie? Was it a song? Was it?
Honestly, it wasn't even that. It was whenever I started working out and got into fitness and changed my life and got like, and then ended up
Is this in
becoming,
high school?
Yeah. So
What
like
year? What year were you like?
2005, 2005.
And this is what junior, sophomore,
like
freshman?
sophomore to junior year.
Sophomore to junior.
Yeah,
year,
that's when like
okay.
I went through like a transformation of, went from not being able to do a push-up to senior year I broke school's bench press record.
And what was
Like,
it you said? Like, what
Wow.
was it that was like, I need to change this?
Well,
Like, what was
it
that
was-
monumental
Was it like a
moment?
friend? Was it a coach? Was it?
It was
a
it
teacher?
was PE class when I couldn't do a push-up, and then
So you started
everybody
thinking about it
laughed
now. You're like, fuck this,
and
like-
the next day I came into the locker room, and all 7 periods were posted, and there was one name highlighted. It was mine. 0. Somebody wrote fat ass, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna show all you guys.
Word.
So I started eating meat and water for like 9 months straight, just ground beef, salt, and water. Literally nothing else. And I went from 359 to 197 pounds, and then I started working out.
You was
And
lean that like now.
no, I was like weird looking because I had all
Okay.
kinds of loose skin. Like I was like, I looked sick, like I had cancer or something. So yeah, it was not a good look.
we laughing.
because I see
My
those.
grandma died of cancer. It's okay, I can laugh.
Cameron would have been the
Yeah,
one to
okay,
write
respect.
fat ass on there. That's why
Yeah,
they
right.
laughed.
Cameron was over there like, fat
No,
ass.
I was actually fat growing up, so I resonate with that.
Yeah, so that was when I like realized it was more like, okay, I started getting that determination and like resilience about me that, okay, I'm gonna show you guys. Like I had just had enough, I was like, and that was where, like I said, I started working out. All of a sudden, I benched 385 pounds my senior year of high school. Like
Broke the
nobody else.
record.
Yeah,
Broke the
like
record.
I mean, it's not a national record or anything, but
But
it's
after
I mean,
school.
yeah, it's like
So
at
you
least
went
in
from-
my
look,
environment.
Billy went from not being able to do a push-up to leaving school as the bench record holder.
Yeah,
Motivation.
And what school is this?
Cesar Chavez.
Caesar
Okay,
Chavez High
yeah.
School.
And you did that
know
in a
what I'm
year,
saying?
so
That's
that's
dope,
like a
man.
testament. My boy always tell me like, your life can change in a year.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
All it takes is 1 year.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's that's like
Yeah.
you did that. And you're showing people like, yo, bro, you was 359 pounds, can do a push up.
Yeah.
That's big time.
Yeah,
That's,
and
that's just
I
a
had
testament
my,
of you.
I had my goal because in my head I didn't really know that a push-up wasn't benching your entire body weight, right?
Yeah.
So when I lost all the weight, I just remembered I wanted to bench like 365 because I wanted to be able to bench what I used to weigh, not really realizing that when you do a push-up, it's like 55% of your body weight, really. But
Right.
so that was why that number was in my head. I was
Yeah.
like, I used to weigh that. I want to be able to lift that. That means I could have done a push-up back then. So like, I don't know. Just-
Yeah.
I heard through the grapevine that you are very analytical, like you are always been good at math. Is that true?
Math has always been my
with
strongest
numbers.
suit. Yeah, like I took calculus freshman year. Like I was
So
like,
actual school was it easy for you? Was it difficult?
it was so school was difficult. Like my grades were horrible. Like I had straight D's. Like because I
You
just
just
didn't.
didn't
I didn't believe in
care?
homework. Like
Okay,
that's
okay.
really what it boiled down to. Because
Man,
again,
I'm
my
a
dad's in
victim of
prison. My mom's remarried. I live alone at 15 years old, pretty much. Like
Really?
Yeah. Like so I didn't have anybody outside telling me to do anything. So I was so good at testing and classwork that I knew that was 60% of my grade. So as long as I just got 100% on every test, I wouldn't have to do homework.
I was the same way growing up,
Yeah.
bro. Like my grades always ended up in the middle because I was like, man, fuck homework.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's like I'm working a full-time job as a
Exactly.
kid. Fuck
Yeah.
I'm one of
outside.
them
I
people.
was saying fuck them tests, fuck the
Nah,
homework, all of that. I was,
See, that's crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, like if you know me, if you know me from high school, bro, I was like I didn't do any homework, but it would get done. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
was
didn't have that luxury.
You already you could probably knowing me now.
Later on, that's how I got my homework. Was like we would set up, girls
I had girls
or whatever.
like literally holding their
yeah.
test up like this to the side with it.
In
You
the
know what I'm saying?
morning,
I'm like this.
in the mornings, we'll
I
have
I
just
all
just
got
got
the
blessed.
left.
I
Everybody
just got
link
blessed
up.
to be an athlete. I didn't have no
Right.
girls doing homework. I would be sleep every day at class.
But you didn't utilize your athlete
I
card.
was an athlete.
I
I did
did
it.
That's
but
how I got them to
passed.
do my
I
homework.
graduated, got degrees.
You said you didn't do the test. You didn't do the.
I passed.
He was fucking the teacher.
Best
friends with the
Peoria going through some things right
Hey,
now.
I heard Peoria.
put that
Y'all
on
better
me.
stop wilding out, man. Y'all
Don't
better
put that
lock
on
in.
me.
Yeah, so
Reverend
yeah.
Leak out there doing dirt, huh?
Nah, so okay, so Yeah, because I'm assuming even what you have to do now, like that makes sense. You have to be a pretty good numbers person. I wouldn't necessarily say math or like analytics, but you have to be dealing with that type of shit that you deal with now. You know what I'm saying? So maneuvering. You know, you go through your childhood, you go through your teenage years of high school, and then now you're transitioning. Like you now turn 18 and you're going to college. What's going through your head now? Are you now becoming? You say you didn't become an athlete till 20. So 18.
Yeah.
What was the goal when you?
Where did you go to college, by the way?
I went to Phoenix College and then I committed to Boise State.
Shout out to Phoenix College.
Yeah.
I hate Phoenix College. I went to
Boise State?
Scottsdale. I ain't messing with Phoenix College.
I'm just
Straight
saying
like
that local though, baby. We
Straight
need
like
the
that.
vibes. You know what I'm
Nash,
saying?
nigga,
Shout out
man.
to Phoenix College. Shout out to Scottsdale Community College. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying? Whatever fucking works for you.
Yeah, we good though.
So I didn't even go to college straight out of high school because so when I got into shape, I started wrestling,
Word.
and then there's not like an NFL for wrestling, right? So there was nowhere to take it other than the Olympics, and I'm not an Olympic.
Senior
like,
year,
wrestling.
you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, wrestling.
So that's where after high school, I had no interest in college because again, I didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. And I'm like, so it's pointless to get degrees if I'm not doing something that requires an actual degree. So I was like, it's not for me. I'm gonna go do the UFC. So I started doing like cage fighting training and doing all the MMA stuff and thinking I'm gonna go be a UFC fighter till I had my first like. Not spar, but above sparring, but not a fight. And I got rocked. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like this.
dude, I'm fighting a 37-year-old man who's 280 pounds of solid muscle, like beat my ass, and he's not even a UFC fighter. He fights Rage in the Cage. So I'm like, I can't even beat the dude that's not even a professional. He's been fighting since he was 14. He's been fighting, 13 years, 23 years of his life.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like, man. Yeah.
You in here for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Real talk though, okay? You like, hold on.
exactly what I was funny.
That's crazy.
So I when I realized I love the training, I love hitting the bags, doing the stuff, but I was like, I don't like getting hit in the face. I'm like, I'm cool. So then a buddy of mine was like, dude, you're huge and strong as shit. Like, why don't you play football? Right. So I used to squat 635 pounds, like at 272 pounds, 6'6". Like I could
Real
do
life
it.
NFL lineman, bro.
Yeah, like,
dunking.
why are you not
You
playing
say you was
football?
dunking?
Huh?
You was
I
dunking?
could get my elbow in the rim. Like I had ups. 40
in the rim.
Yeah, like dude, like I was.
That made me looking folks different.
What position did you play in football?
Oh, you
So I
don't
played
get it twisted.
defensive end in the community college. And I was switching to tight end because they were like, you'll play a great D1 ball as a defensive end, but I'm not aggressive enough to play like in the NFL. And my best offer was from South Carolina. Actually, I was going to line up opposite Jadeveon Clowney of all people. And he was an absolute savage. So I was like, that would actually be a good spot because he's going to get double teamed. So I'll be over here. But everybody I was talking to that knew, if I want to make it to the NFL, switch to tight end. They're like, you're big, you're strong. I wasn't good laterally, but I was quick in a straight line. 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah. So my arm span is 6'10". Like
You're going up top.
Yeah. So that's what they were like.
Could you catch them? Did you have hands?
You had
So those gloves are a cheat code. I didn't know that because that's what I was worried about. Was
gotten
catching.
stickier over the
there's
years,
just
too.
like you don't even have to close your hand. It's like, I have the ball. Like, so
gotten
that
bad,
was something that concerned me was catching. But
You get D1
Yeah.
too. They switching out the gloves every game.
yeah, like so
Halftime, you
that's
get
where
halftime.
that's where
you get some gloves.
I wanted,
you get some gloves.
yeah, I wanted
Go
to
say rip.
go to Boise State because at the time Kellen Moore's the quarterback. He was he's actually the offensive coordinator for the Chargers right now. Oh wow.
Shout out
And
Kellen Moore.
Doug Martin was a running back. Most of the hamster dude was an absolute insane. Other injuries obviously slowed his career, but he's like I think number 3 overall pick. So I was just thinking like, man, that would be a great spot if I'm gonna go offense now. And so I did the spring ball thing, and then I got an injury called the Bureau of Prisons. So
Let's transition to it. So this is junior year. So now we led up to this 21 year. When you're 21, 22, that run. So now you're about a junior. You said you went to Phoenix College, played there, and then you were going to transfer to Boise. But then, of course, you said it was a vacation called what?
the BOP.
BOP.
Yeah.
So now you said that when we talked about it earlier, you got caught up in Vegas.
Yeah.
So once you got picked up, what was the situation? Like, what were you looking at? Why did you get picked up essentially? What were you facing?
Yeah, so I was facing like 130 years in prison or something. So I was kind of
130 for what?
so I had a gigantic fraud case and then robbed 3 banks. So
Wait, hold on. So you came in there guns blazing, like everybody,
This is a movie.
get on the ground.
yes,
Hey, mask to the side. And
Don't
shit.
be a
They're like,
hero.
Voice change.
Don't be a hero in here. So was it that type situation?
The one that I did was with like, because we did 3 of them, but I had people that worked for me do the first 2, but they failed to get the vault. So I was kind of like OCD, and I was like, I just need to do one myself to where I can get the vault. So I
Like,
got
don't
the
have
vault.
time to-
Allegedly.
You got the vote.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
No, it's all.
No.
It's all
He's-
convicted.
It's done.
Okay, so
It's done.
you did how many robberies were done in this time?
3.
3. So that's what they documented 3.
Yeah, so
And
that's why I came on the 3rd episode. You know,
It's look, so on the 3rd one, okay, then this is the 3rd episode of the Heat Advisory. So and you're Billy the 3rd.
yeah, I'm actually
And
the 3rd.
His first job was here.
Yeah,
And his
my
first job was
here.
at the
That's
Grand,
crazy.
for those who
Yeah.
don't know,
Full circle. You see that?
which we are at. So shout out to the Grand. You know what I'm saying? Downtown Phoenix, a beautiful location. Come check it out. But 3 robberies. You said they couldn't crack the vault. So you said, God damn it, I'll crack this damn thing myself. So were they fired? What happened? They get fired? Did they get? They,
No, I just sent them back to their home states.
them back home.
Yeah, just because we were operating in a few different states, and I figured it'd be better to have people from out of state come do it, to where like they wouldn't find out who did it.
Yeah.
And honestly, we got away with the first 2, no problem.
Where were
Like,
they done at?
West Side, like
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Arizona. My boy had just asked me. He said, "You think anybody ever robbed a bank here?" I said,
Of course.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I just
Yeah.
never heard of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's a state.
Like,
Any
And
state,
now
that's
you
what they
have
try to
heard
do.
of it.
I just never. now,
I actually have the 3rd largest robbery in Arizona state history too. Ironically.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So okay, first one, first, second, and third one, what'd you get away with each time?
The first one was like $2,000. The second one was like $5,000. That's
So-
why, like,
so it was
because
just
they
some
ended
light-
up getting the teller because they like somebody panicked, somebody got scared, somebody like it didn't work out. So that's why I
And
was
you
like,
didn't do these. You
like,
just sent somebody to do these.
yeah.
things.
So that's why I was like, we
Rookie.
robbed 2 banks and made $7,000. I'm sitting here making at the time I'm doing like 220K a day in online fucking Bitcoin. Like I'm like, why the fuck are we robbing banks? You know?
I was about to ask, why do you feel like you needed to do that if you were making so much money?
That's the thing, is that's the biggest conundrum of the entire thing, is that I was a multimillionaire when I went and robbed a bank. What? So the only reason it happened was because my buddy got fired and was like, fuck them, they think they can fire me, we should go rob them.
Spite.
Yeah. So that's it. That's literally it. That's the only reason.
boredom.
Because
So now at this time,
You gotta feel it.
did you turn your daredevil up? Like, did you turn your nuts dropped at this time or something? Because like,
he was going to college.
yeah.
But so in college, I was also on steroids, so that makes you a little crazy.
Okay, so you was like,
But
fuck 'em.
really, no. It was just
Right.
one of
Beat
my
his
biggest
ass.
one of my biggest problems is like my loyalty will overcome my fucking
Judgment type.
sometimes.
Gotcha.
And like he's my boy, telling me like we gotta hit these. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna rob a
like,
bank.
bro,
Are you
I didn't
stupid?
even-
Like,
Right.
dude, we're making so much money,
Right.
and nobody even knows we're taking it.
Right.
Why are we ever gonna do anything?
And so what were you doing? Sorry, I'm all over the
Yeah,
place.
you're
but
good,
what
you're
were
good.
you doing? Making what were you doing to make 200,000?
So it started with we were getting cards from the bank and we were running them through an app called Square. Then
Word.
we had to stop that because we couldn't just have them all come from one spot. Then I started hiring all the strippers in the state because when you go to the strip club, they photocopy your driver's license and credit card if you open a tab. It's for insurance because people go out, ball out at the strip club, be like, I was never there, and dispute it. So they photocopy those and keep them on file for insurance.
Word.
So I found out about that. So then I started having every stripper. I was like, look, I'll give you $100 every one you bring me. So I literally had like 80 strippers that worked for me that were bringing me
Watch
cards
out for them.
every
You gotta
day.
watch out for them scripters,
Hey,
man.
they're
got
with it, man.
Yeah,
But,
they committed, man. You
so,
Stay out that club.
so yeah,
Look at
we
that
had
dude.
them.
Stay out
You know what I'm looking at?
Yeah. We had them. We had them getting us cards, and we had homeless people opening bank accounts. So we just have I had a Motel 6 on Scottsdale Road across from the Quick Trip over there. I had the entire Motel 6, every room in it rented out, filled with homeless people, literally. And I'm not even exaggerating.
So
Every
you
room.
was changing people's lives all around.
Yeah, you know, I felt like I was Robin Hood, man.
was
That's how I
employing
felt.
people for
Take it
real.
from
I
the,
was
take it from the
taking it
titties
from the
and give it
rich
to the
and
city.
Give it to them. Yeah, I love that.
That's what.
So okay, so because that's okay, because I can't even fathom. So you're making like 200,000 off of.
Well, no, so the progression was eventually we didn't need the strippers, the homeless people, none of that. That's when I got turned on to the dark web. that was where I started making crazy money, and that's when I got into Bitcoin.
What were you doing on dark web?
So there was a website called Joker Stash where I could buy a $50,000 MasterCard for about $15 and run it for 30,000 in Bitcoin right there. Like, and it was literally just how long do I want to sit there and type numbers on my iPod Touch? It was, I could make 10 million a day if I wanted to, but I just didn't want to sit there all fucking day typing numbers. So that's what when I went away, I had like 800,000 actual Bitcoins in a wallet somewhere. And then all of a sudden I'm in Maricopa County Jail. I see Bitcoin's $19,000 coin. I'm like, I'm a multi-billionaire. Oh my God.
In jail.
Like, yeah, but it was, it's gone.
And we both know at that 19, it tripled that too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a 70 now.
Yeah.
Imagine if I had 800,000 coins at 70,000 a coin. I got like $71 billion.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was like that close.
Okay, so then
On
Wish I
accident.
would have known you back then.
you're in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, this is what you were doing at the time, robbing
Yeah.
banks. You know, you're hitting them crazy on the black market and on the Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Going crazy. You get caught up in Vegas. Now you're in court and you're hearing all of this. I'm facing 100 and what? Break
100
that down now.
yeah, it
Break.
was-
How long was this process?
So I get arrested in Vegas, obviously. I go to Pahrump, the CCA, the federal detention there. I'm sitting there for 6 weeks before I get extradited back to Arizona. When I get to Arizona, they give me my list of charges. I had 118 counts, I believe, something like I forget exactly what it was. Shit. It was something crazy. And because it was just like tons of counts
And
of
what
fraud.
are you thinking at this time? Like when you're,
Well,
because you know when shit gets real when you sit in the courtroom and then they're like
crying.
You're looking at 120 years and you're like, wait.
Fainted in the
I just
Yeah, like, I might have.
I would have.
You feel me?
I would have shit myself and.
What was that like?
So it was, the problem was I couldn't react in the moment whenever they were saying things like that because my mom is behind me bawling her eyes out. So I had to act like it was nothing. I was like, nah, don't even worry. It's not going to happen.
be
It's
all right.
fine. Like, it's cool. You know, so like I'm trying to comfort her because she's just back there sobbing.
You had got a good
and it's
lawyer
like,
with that money.
no, because all my money was gone.
They took it? They took the money?
Yeah, like so literally every penny was taken. The feds got some, and then this dude named Larry in California, where all the Bitcoin was in his thing. I don't know what. He's probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
So
now.
he has okay.
Larry, send that money back, man.
I know, man.
Larry,
like-
get us that money back
Yeah.
pronto, boy. Nah, but so you get booked, going through that process, and you're now having to comfort moms and stuff because you're hearing all of this shit that's going on.
So I'm just again, like I didn't really understand enough about the law to realize that they always say the number of all your charges stacked together if it was all consecutive and like that's not reality. That doesn't happen. But I I still was like kind of like shocked into disbelief, like wow. But I thought I was going away forever. I thought it was what it was. I did my decisions. I was dumb. I shouldn't.
So you literally were like, you accepted it. You were like, when during the time when you was doing it, did you know, some people were like, I accept this gangster life, whatever come with it. If I die, go to jail forever, this is what I'm signing up for. Was that in your head, or did you make
Well,
that decision once you got caught?
Once I got caught, like, because again, I thought I was going to leave to Brazil. I didn't think I'd ever be touched.
How you was finna be
Yeah, I was
either
like,
getting somebody pregnant or putting 35 on it in
I
an
got
account, in an
multi-millionaire
offshore.
in Brazil. Like, yeah,
Okay.
like
So that obviously came after.
yeah. So
And you was
that
like, I did this shit, I'm finna eat it up real quick, but I'm,
it was
Pause.
more so. It's just that like you don't really have a choice, you know. So that's what it is. It's
That's
like
true.
people are like, oh, how'd you deal with it? I'm like, what else do I do? Like, you know, like because I already had the reality in the situation of if they give me like 80 to 100 years, I'm gonna kill myself because I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life in
you
prison.
thoroughly thought that. You
Yeah,
was like,
100%. I already planned it out. I had the whole thing situated, like how I was gonna do it. Because I'm like, I don't want this. Like, if it's gonna be this same room till the day I die of old age, why even wait? You know, like what are we
true.
talking about? So it was either that.
I'm almost mad I said fucking truth, but I'm like,
yeah, it's
thinking
real.
about
'Cause
myself,
the
like,
thing
you're
is,
like, yo, bro.
Takes
in-
courage too.
in life though, you live for the opportunity, right? That
Yeah.
you want to maybe one day make something of yourself, even if you have no plans or nothing.
Yeah.
You still think about
Shitty
well, maybe next
situation.
week I can go on vacation. Maybe
Yeah.
at that you have no opportunity ever. It's done. So I'm like, I'm not gonna live like this for my entire life. Like that's the end of it. It was either that or get a sex change to go to the female yard, you know, like.
And were you okay with the thought of that at the time?
Billy walking around, walking around, Joanna man, white Joanna man.
Big as hell.
Can I braid your
I
hair?
used to tell dudes, I'm like, bro, if I was doing life, I'd get a sex change because the feds will pay for it.
You would kill
I was
shot
like,
put.
I would rather be
Olympics.
eaten out by a girl than sucked out by a dude.
For sure.
You know,
And-
all
and
day.
So look, were you okay with that thought at the time?
Of
Like
what?
I know
Of what?
I know you had it in your head already, but were you like, okay, like I can go through with it?
What?
With the taking myself out.
No, not the sex
take it
change.
out.
part?
Get your
With
freaky,
what?
I was like,
hey,
what are you
get
talking
this
about?
freaky boy
I
out
was
of
like,
here,
what's-
man.
With what,
No,
bro?
we're offing myself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the only reason I would wait until my mom died, that was really what it came down to, is because like I would still want her to be able to talk to her, and like it's because even from in there, you can still make moves. Like I bought my mom a car from prison because I ran the blackjack tables, the poker tables. I brought the spice in.
In prison?
I was making money, like because if I'm somewhere, I'm gonna try to find opportunities. So I was doing good in there. Like I ended up getting like, cell phones in there. Like
Yeah.
you know, so it's like
You living like you
I
good.
was living good, and so that's what like I knew.
When
that
did you go in?
2011. 2012, sorry, 2012. Yeah.
And I don't think you explained, like, they threw 130 at you, but what did they end up giving
yeah.
you?
so I
so
ended
get
up doing
back to
12
that.
years. Yeah.
So hold on.
yeah.
So they're like 130. What you're going back and forth with?
Yeah, it's because what it is
the
is
system,
they
of course.
tell you what you'll get if you lose that trial, and then they offer you a plea deal.
So they gave you a plea.
Yeah, so then 12 years sounds like a steal. Like, oh my God, it was 100.
You either got
now it's 12.
130
that's
or
what
you
they
got
do. Yeah,
12
so
if
that's-
you sign right now.
That's what it is.
And that's
is
why I
that-
asked about the good lawyer, because you know they're.
Yeah, like
Not even
it,
that
honestly,
Really,
Yeah.
my client should only be serving a year.
yeah, nah,
Of
yeah,
12 months.
I know. Like I wish, man.
So you signed the plea, and now you're getting taken to where?
So then I go to the actually, from there I signed a plea. Then I go to Maricopa County Jail because I had a state case too. So then I had my state case for 87 counts or something. And so I had to go there for 2.5 years and wait for the state to agree to run their sentence concurrent. And then I went back to the feds and finally made it to the prison yard.
Meaning like that 2.5 would count towards that 12.
Yeah, well, that would have counted either way because I was in custody, but saying that I signed a global plea, meaning that my federal time and my state time, the state time couldn't exceed the federal time.
Got it.
So really it was like the state, I think they were just trying to fill a bed for a while to get paid. Because there was no reason to keep me because again, you can't go higher than what my federal sentence is. So why are we even talking about this? Like, give me 12 too. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, but they ended up giving me 4.5. They said agree to all counts and they'll give me 4.5 years, 87 times concurrent.
So in total it was 12 years.
So,
Yeah.
And the feds gave you 8.
Yeah.
So
no,
then,
no. 8. They give me 8. What?
8 years. You
No,
said
12.
So they
12
gave
total.
you 12. Okay.
12
The
total.
4.5 ran with the
With
12.
the 8.
So like,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying?
just
So 8 and 12. So then, okay, so now you're going to where did you actually serve majority of this time?
in FCI Safford.
Where's that?
Uh,
Safford?
it's Safford, Arizona. Yeah.
Safford, Arizona. So then you told, from just through the grapevine, 12 years, but you served 7 in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, it was like 6.5. Yeah, but yeah.
And what happened? Like, why did you end up in solitary? Because you already fucking got in trouble.
So
it's like,
when
why
I got to CCA in Florence over here, there was CCA has contracts with other states and stuff like that to house inmates. So they had a contract with Vermont State to where their state inmates were housed there doing their prison time. Well, they get different things than we get, and they get PlayStation and TV. So I'm like, I need one of those.
Hey, yo.
One of those.
So what happened?
So I'm like one of the only white guys in the pod because it's mostly paisas, like Mexicans
Yeah.
from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
For illegal reentry and stuff. So like they don't offer, I figure out there's a church called Ossiture Church where they worship Odin and Thor and all that. And I'm like, why isn't that for the federal inmates? So I filed grievances saying they're denying me my religious freedoms, blah, 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 blah. I should be able to attend the church with them, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, because you can't talk to the inmates in Vermont unit because anytime you go through, they shut down all the Sally ports, everybody has to log down. So you can't, it's impossible to talk to them. But I was like, if I could go to church with them, I could maybe start talking. So they end up approving it, but I have to go with
You were trying to finesse the plug.
so they end up approving it, but I have to go with a cop. So I go in first with the cop to the back, and then the state inmates come in, and we would literally watch Thor, and they would lose their fucking mind that a black guy was the gate guardian. Oh my God, they thought that was the craziest, like, because he's supposed to be this big, blonde-haired, blue-eyed god of the whites, and there's a black guy, their heads would pop. Like, hey, man, it was funny. I'm like, you guys understand it was a Marvel movie, right? Like, I don't know, it was crazy. But so what I started doing is I start dropping like little papers and notes on the seats as I go in there trying to get like somebody's information where I could send them some money and da-da-da. So, end up getting it like some guys over a couple weeks. They're down. So then I get a job as the laundry porter for our units where I could push the laundry cart with all of our laundry bags in it. So I started taking that down to church with me. And then so we end up coordinating. I got the PlayStation, the TV, all in the laundry cart, take it back to the unit.
Shit like a movie, bro.
Yeah, like, dude, you can't take me nowhere. Like, that's what it is. So, I get the PlayStation over there. We're playing Madden and stuff, and then
y'all lit now. Y'all like,
yeah,
boy,
like,
we up 10.
So somebody in the unit next to me though finds out that we got a PlayStation over there. He wants to buy one. And he's like, how much for one? I said, 5 racks. He's like, bro, I was like, bro, I got to pay for them. I got to pay them extra. I got to buy the thing. And then my transportation costs and all the risk I take. You give me $5,000. Like, it's going to cost me $3 just to make the thing happen.
Like, you ain't here for life, my boy.
Yeah, like, you want a PlayStation or not? The very next day, our unit gets raided. The PlayStation's in cell 109. I live in cell 101. So I'm not thinking anything. I'm like, well, that's why I paid them over there.
Right.
And they come in my cell and they tell me to get up against the wall. I'm like, why? They say you're no longer allowed to this facility. So they kicked me out of the jail. I just got sent to a different jail, and then they put me straight in the shoe and put me as a high threat to this facility.
What's the shoe again for people who may not know?
Solitary housing unit.
Solitary
It's just a room by myself with a concrete bed, like, and 23-hour lockdown.
23
for 6
and
years.
you get three showers a week. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you get a shower. Like, it's
so
crazy.
For that one, you didn't beat nobody, you didn't kill nobody, you didn't do. It was just like, yo, I had a PlayStation. They're like, well,
but it's just
because of the situation, you're just unlucky, my boy.
It's more so too that so already with my case, there's a lot of people in this world that have robbed banks.
Yeah.
To make somebody else go rob a bank for you and not even pay them for it and have them do it, that just shows like a more mastermind. Like, this guy, so I'm already under like some highest threat to facility type. And then I'm there for 4 weeks and I got a PlayStation when they've never had a PlayStation in the unit. So it was like,
it's called a hustle, ladies and gentlemen. It's called hustle. You ain't got it. Just learn from the people that got it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So now you're in the shoe. You had to transfer facilities. What is your day-to-day like, bro? Like 6.5 years, I'm sure built a lot of like mental, emotional, physical strength.
Will crack in there. It's crazy. Like, people will come in completely normal and 3 months later they're taking shits in their sink or they're eating their shoes or
just
like,
being in there.
It's weird.
3 months.
It messes with you. There's times where I had like paranoias. Occasionally, like, things would bug me. Like one time I'm working out and I need a drink of water, and when you click the water, it shoots out like that, and you can lean down to your sink and drink the water, right? But if somebody flushes their toilet, who's one of your 4 cells, like the one next to you and the 2 above you, the water doesn't come out. So I'm working out and I go to get water, I click the thing, dude upstairs flushes, water won't come out, so I can't get a drink. And I'm like, and then so like it stops, and I click it again, and then he flushes the toilet again. So then I start thinking he's doing that to where I can't get water and I want to kill him. And I'm like, there's no way he even knows that. Like, and so I got to like rationalize with myself, because you start going crazy in there. Like, you know, and then like one time I'm thinking the cop is trying to give me smaller portions. And I'm like, nah, dude. I was like, you're trying to give me the smallest meal. I was like, it's like, I'm like, oh, no, you're tripping.
But it's
like,
real though, because you like,
it just messes with you. Like, and then I didn't really realize another toll that when I got out, because I thought, like, I'm still kind of the same. Anytime I was around people, I couldn't look them in the eye. I was always like sketch. I'm standing against walls. Just like being around humans. I hadn't like been around a human being.
It was dehumanizing.
Yeah, 6-7 years, like, where now all of a sudden I'm in a room and I'm not in shackles. Like, anytime I was around people, I'm shackled up, belly chain, like leg irons with cameras on me and guns. Like, and then just to be able to walk in a room with people, I was like it was like spooking me out. Like, and then I'm like, I don't know. I start thinking, I'm like, are they gonna try to kill me? Like, should I try to kill them? Should I like, and then you start
fucking with you,
dude. It was like, it took me like 2 weeks to kind of like snap out of it.
So between the two, would you say it made you more aggressive or more paranoid?
Not necessarily, like, probably more. in the moment you're paranoid because like and aggressive. You get like a paranoid aggression, I guess, because like you start thinking things and then you want to attack things. So it's like it messes with you in some capacities, but then it's like even in the like whenever I first got out back to the free world, it's like around crowds. Like if I'm in a crowd, my hands would start getting like pumped up, like adrenaline, because like I start looking at people's hands to see if they got knives, you know, because like that's when a riot happens, when there's a big crowd and you got to watch people's hands so you don't want to get stabbed. Like, so it's just like certain things that like kind of, because my entire adult life essentially was prison. Yeah. I was an athlete. I was a student, child to prison to now like I'm out here trying to be an adult when I'm like, I've never even been a grown up. Like I was a student and then an inmate. And so it was just like, trying to learn how to be like an actual, like I had never even lived alone, you know, other than in the shoe. Like it was like, I'd never had my own place. I'd never even like, it was just like, I don't know. It was like
getting to that.
So
before we get to that, cause
yeah.
While you're in there 6.5 years, like what did you do day to day? And what were things that you tried to do to like keep yourself human?
Yeah. Reading. I read a lot. Like psychology books mostly, because I wanted to start understanding why the brain was the way it was. So I read a lot of psychology and a lot of business. Because while I was in the show,
why did you want to? Why? Like why that of all things to read the world?
Because I didn't like that I was losing control of myself mentally. So that was bugging me. Yeah. Is because like I'm like, for example, I wanted to kill the guy above me because he flushed his toilet.
And you're realizing this as yourself, like so that's not okay.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I need to learn more about the brain. Why am I thinking this way? Why am I acting this way? Why are these things happening? And then also I got into the business heavily because originally, honestly, prison didn't make me not want to do crime. Like I honestly went there and learned how to do mortgage fraud. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do when I go home. I had a cellie that stole $3.6 billion in mortgage fraud. I was like, I could do that. I'd be a multi-billionaire. So again, my trajectory was back to crime. My dad got murdered while I was in the shoe in a home invasion. And that was a kind of a wake-up moment for me to be like, in essence, because like my dad was gone and I created essentially his worst nightmare on the planet. The only thing he told me his entire life, don't go to prison. So the last thing he ever knew of me was his absolute worst nightmare. So that bugged the hell out of me.
Fucked you, okay.
So what I was like, the only way to make that right with him, if there is any sort of afterlife and he's watching, I need to do great. And even if there isn't, I want to go down as his greatest creation. So since I came from him to come and try to do things the right way and succeed and like conquer the earth in the right way and do things right for him would be like honoring his death. Because if somebody walked in a room and said, either you got to die or you got to die, my dad would be like, kill me, because he's my dad. He'll die for me. Yeah. Just like when I have a child, I will die for my son. Yeah. So, or daughter,
yeah,
or
absolutely.
they, them. No.
Or them. But DC they. Fact.
But that's the thing is that, so if I could take his death and make it basically save my life from being a criminal, a scammer, a fucking not a good human being, that would be he died for me. He would take that any day of the week. So that was why I was like, I need to figure out what to do here to not be that guy anymore. But the problem was I didn't want to get out and be poor because I had been rich right before I left. So to go from literally jets and fucking whatever I want to when I came home, I had $42. So it was like that transition. That's why I was like, I have to figure out something to where when I go home, I can accomplish something great, but not illegal, you know? So that was where
okay, I like that.
Yeah,
that literally leads me into my next point of like the idea.
And that's
so I know access is very limited in solitary.
Yeah.
So how did you get even access to think of this idea?
So with all that shit going on.
So with the idea, the way that it came to be, because like I said, after he died, I wanted to learn more about business and try to figure out how to be successful. So I read a lot of success stories about people, how they've come up, how they've succeeded, done things like that. Yeah. So I was like, I need to learn about this. I need to read about this because like I've realized reading will enrich your brain in ways that, you know, like
in other ways that you can't get here.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like, I mean, you can't learn about the world from a closet, like obviously,
very true.
But the you can get like the fundamentals down. So I'm like, okay, let me learn about this. So I subscribe to like Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, all these magazines about business and corporations, things of that nature. And Uber is actually where the idea came from. Just because I was reading an Entrepreneur Magazine about how Uber was the most valuable startup of all time, valued at $80 billion. So I'm like, man, I need to do something like that. Because that way I just have unlimited money again, and it's something I could talk about and be proud about instead of faking and acting and like, you know, oh, what do you do? Oh, I don't know.
Forex trader.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on the ground.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense, right?
So I'm reading about it, and the article is talking about how the only surefire way to become a billionaire in this lifetime is disrupt a major industry.
Say that one more time, because this is something when we first met that you said to me that has stuck with me.
Yeah, is that the only surefire way to become a billionaire in this world is to disrupt one of the major industries. So Uber disrupted the transportation industry.
There we go.
Transportation industry was a $120 billion a year industry in America. They're valued at $80 billion. So I'm like, okay, well, what are the biggest industries in America?
Right.
Ask the CEO to use the phone. I have to wait like 4 hours to get a phone. Finally get a phone call. Call my mom. I say, hey, can you jump on Google real quick and Google what are the biggest industries in America? Okay, so she Googles it. Number one is finance.
She's like on the phone with you, like, I don't know, honey, how do you see?
So, and again, she's an old lady. She don't know the internet. Like, she's trying her best.
I'm doing this for you, baby.
Yeah.
All right? I don't know I don't know how to go back.
So, number one largest industry in America is finance. Clearly, it's like $4 trillion, $5 trillion a year.
Banking,
banking, real estate, banking, Wall Street. You know,
stocks,
like
and all that
investment
good stuff.
funds, things like that.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do there to disrupt that. Okay, cool. What's number two? Sports betting. I'm like, sports betting is bigger than porn, bigger than transportation, bigger
Right.
for everyone.
Sports themselves.
Sports betting, yeah, it was like
Everyone.
mind blowing that like that was the second biggest industry. Sports entertainment is actually very small compared to sports betting. If you think about it, the entire NFL in the entire year they make like $12 billion for all the players in the NFL, the biggest sports entertainment industry in America.
Yeah.
And just on the Super Bowl alone, twice that was bet. Think about that. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So when I saw sports betting as the second biggest industry, I'm like, well, I don't really know how to disrupt that either. Like I'm not really. I'm just like, but let me think about it because I see that people are addicted to it. There's people inside that get stabbed up because they can't stop betting. I'm like, you literally get stabbed because you're so addicted to
Lose your
sports
life,
betting.
yeah.
I'm like, are you
People
delusional?
throw their lives away.
Yeah,
about
like
this, so.
people lose their families, their houses, so I'm like,
Makes
that's
sense.
a problem because again, you don't want to just disrupt an industry, you want to solve a problem. So the thing is, you need to identify a problem. Problem is, 95% of people who gamble lose, and people gamble with things they can't afford to lose, and there's people that ruin their lives over it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, how can you do something to address the issue of people lose money because they're betting against somebody who is creating odds, creating handicaps, making sure they lose. Odds are always in the house's favor. And still do it in a way where you can make a lot of money. So I was like, going back to finance is the biggest industry, and I had a little bit of like, you know,
You had kind of bluffed in
familiarity.
stocks,
Yeah,
options,
I had faked my way through it.
investor
so I had a
portfolio.
little bit of knowledge, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what if you created like an asset that was tied to the outcome of sports games?
And are you in your cell thinking this? Like you're kind of like,
I'm just chilling in my bed, like, and
fuck.
I'm thinking like that would essentially merge the two largest industries in the world and create one industry I call sports finance. So that's where the idea came. I was like, okay, and then so I started working on the mechanics of it. How would I build a market? How would I create an asset
In
that's
prison.
tied to it? Yeah, like
so now you're
once
doing something positive here where you see opportunity.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
once that sparked for you when you said your dad passed away, do you think that solitary confinement kind of lets you like really hone in on that craft? Because I have a theory, like when you're alone, God kind of puts you in situations sometimes to be alone to like master yourself and master your
Well,
thoughts. And
for
figure out what you wanna
sure, I would have never identified or came across the train of this idea without that, because when you're around people, you'll talk about things people talk about.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, the thing is nobody in the world would have been talking about let's create a stock market of sports that I hung out with. So therefore, we would, even if we're talking about ideas, like, you know, I like to talk about ideas. I don't like to talk about, oh, this concert or, oh, this person or, oh, this thing. It's like, it doesn't really interest me. But the thing is that I also know I wouldn't have been talking about this idea because, like, I would have been trying to get into groups where I'm the dumbest in the group to where I can try to learn from these people.
That's so
And,
important.
Yeah. And
Billy,
but
I tell people all the time, bro, like, get around people who are better than you.
100%.
Because
Yeah.
if you're around 6 people who rob banks, you'll probably be the
So
same.
listen, we're gonna put y'all on the quick merch real fast, man. We have here the Heat Advisory merch. To my left, we have Camo. He has that good black charcoal hoodie on, right? This is the Heat Advisory merch. This is curated from and for the coach. So listen, these are actually all chipped with their own personal tags, right? These are NFC blockchains that keep you tapped in not only as business owners with analytics, so you can actually sell that to your sponsors and promote that with your sponsors. Shout out to Verify, who will plug this in with this technology. But this technology allows other entrepreneurs to not only sell their analytics to other sponsors to make money, but also it keeps your analytics tracked, right? So you know exactly where this merch is going, how many people have tapped this merch. What we'll do is it's gonna pull up a commercial, and this can be your product, your business, your service. And it's up to you on where you market it. If you have a network of 100,000, great. Sell that to Circle K and they can put some ads on there, all right? So if you wanna find some of our merch, again, www.theheatadvisory.com, or you can go and DM us, all right? We got the charcoal shirts for the summertime, all right? We got the black with the yellow on them. We have the hoodies coming for the wintertime. You got to stay prepared. If you want to grab it, go ahead and purchase that now, all right? Heat Advisory out. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially back. This is the Heat Advisory Podcast, episode 3, here with CEO of Game Changer Market, Mr. Billy. We were just kind of going in on you know, just your vacation. Now you're coming out. You have this crazy idea, and now it's time to execute and it's time to act on all of these things that you've been thinking about.
Yeah.
What is Game Changer Market?
So what we've done is we've used blockchain technology to create digital assets that are tied to the performance of real-world sports teams.
Got it.
It functions just like a stock market for sports. So instead of gambling, where if you were to say that you liked the Atlanta Braves today and you bet on them and they lost to the Mets, say you put $100, you have nothing. You lost that whole $100. On our platform, you can invest in the Braves, and even if they were to lose a game, the value of their share, we call them pennants, just goes down in value. You don't lose anything.
So it's not necessarily like I just lost $100. It's just like the value just went down a little bit.
Just like in the stock market. You buy Apple, you expect it to go up, but it goes down. Okay, now you just hold Apple, wait for it to go up.
So it's like you have the opportunity to invest in your favorite sports team's performance.
Exactly.
So it's nothing like FanDuel and DraftKings.
The only thing that we are similar to them in is that we use sports. That's about it. They still, whenever you are on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, MGM, they own the lines. They create them. They handicap it against you. They're trying to make you lose. On my platform, I hope you win. There is no house with our platform. Our platform operates just like a market. So say you owned the Chicago Bears and he owned the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys lost, and you lost $4 of your position. Your value went down $4. That $4 that was lost by your position goes to you for the Bears.
So the position of the Bears from there.
Exactly. So like he might have bought it for 12 and it went down to 8, and you bought for 15 and it went to 19.
Let me ask you something. For the people who don't know, like, what is the value in, like, for example, like you said, FanDuel, DraftKings, and all these places, that's the house.
Yes.
You don't have a house. What is the value in that?
Is that the market's not controlled by anybody. So we're not sitting here being like, oh, let's try to make this way to make this person lose. Because when you lose on DraftKings, again, they take your money.
Yeah,
it goes to DraftKings.
And how many people, what's the percentage of people who lose on these apps?
95% of people lose an average of $500 a month every month on the sports betting apps.
Has anybody here lost some money on FanDuel.
Man,
Bro, they be
I'm
whacking me.
Negative like
You got hit too
700
back there?
in FanDuel right now.
Okay. So I've experienced it myself. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's a good thing because I like that. That's what gravitated me, like the people control the market.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's all user driven. Like there's times that the underdogs are the favorites and the favorites are the underdogs because it's not based upon an individual matchup. It's based upon what is the price of this team, what can they lose, and who are they playing. So it's all based upon previous performance. Like last year, the San Francisco 49ers started the year 9-0. Then they lost 3 in a row. They're still the favorite in the next game on the handicapping because they're still, one of the best teams in the NFL. Vegas is not gonna make them underdogs to where you could bet 100 and win 300 because they're probably gonna win the game. But on our marketplace, the conditions that happened, it made San Francisco the underdog. So you could have essentially bought San Francisco on our platform and then bet on the other team on DraftKings, and no matter what, you won money. No matter who wins.
It almost sounds like a
Win-win, huh?
It's like a win-win.
Yeah, the LA Dodgers tomorrow.
I have a quick question just about more so of the development of the stuff. How many developers did you have a part of this process? 'Cause obviously, you probably
So we
didn't
have
do
a
this
lead
yourself.
developer who's actually a very, very accomplished developer. He actually doesn't even take on projects. You have to sell him on your idea. He just got done building the blockchain network for the United Arab Emirates. Like he's a big time developer, and so he has a team of developers under him. But he what sold him on our project. It wasn't even that it was sports. He didn't really care about that. He doesn't really care like too much about anything else we were doing. The one thing that sold him on our market is he's like, this will be the first free market ever created. In every market in this world, Forex, Wall Street, commodities, crypto, anything, even sports betting, enough money can move currency, enough money can move prices, enough money can move point spreads or money lines or whatever. So the 1% can bully markets. They can create pump and dumps. They can drive the price of Bitcoin up or make Bitcoin
Which
crash.
I've heard about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They drive the price up by putting a bunch of money.
The elites control every market in this world. On our market, the opposite is true because the way your gain is calculated on our market is by how much the other side lost. So back to the example of you own the Bears, you own the Cowboys. If you put $1 billion on the Cowboys, all you did was make it that you could lose $300 million and gain maybe $20 because the $300 million you're losing is going to him. You have no way to recoup that money. So you can't bully our market. There's no way that any amount of money can push things or change things. The more money somebody puts, in essence, the more they stand to lose and the less they stand to gain. So you can't bully our market. So that was what sold him on the concept. He's like, this will be the first free market where essentially a person with $100 has the same power with somebody with $1 billion. Because if a $100 player is going against $1 billion player, the $1 billion player will win $30. The $100 player will win $300 million.
And I like that you said that because me and my team, we've been talking about this a lot lately. Just how you can utilize your resources when you have $1 billion idea and you might not necessarily have the funds to invest in that idea.
Yeah.
That was a great insight because now obviously this is like $1 billion idea, but how did you get the funds, Steve, and like get this thing in motion coming out of jail with $43? Yeah.
So right when I got out, I started a pool business because I originally learned a lot about pool companies to launder money because I was like, there's nobody knows how many pools I cleaned or how many like whatever, So I learned a lot about it, but then I saw the margins were good. I was like, wow, that's pretty good margins. So I was like, when I got out, I started that. I was like, that wasn't like a really difficult business to get into. And I was doing good in my first summer. I did $800K. So like, again, most people would take that as I could do this for the rest of my life thing. Like $1 million a year is good income.
Yeah.
But my problem is I've never been like necessarily money motivated. I'm more like creating and projects and trying things. Like, yes, when I was really broke, I needed money, like obviously. Right. So it's not like money is not a motivating factor, but whenever I really did that like paradigm shift after my dad's murder and really wanting to do something that mattered and create things and accomplish things, it became more about like the journey and trying to make things instead of just
it's the chase
money. Yeah. So, yes, money will come, and that's just a byproduct of great ideas and creating them. But a lot of people would have been fine with how my pool business was. It was completely turnkey. I didn't have to do anything, and I sold that in order to start this. And
That was
then
the initial startup.
yeah,
funds.
like so.
How much was it?
The what?
How much you sold it for that you had to start up? For Game Changers?
So I ended up selling the company total. I think I got like 930,000 or something like that.
So it was good.
But yeah, it's just the development still went over. Like I made some dumb decisions. I went and bought a Porsche for my birthday, because I was like, I just sold the company, got all this money, and then that got repossessed like 3 weeks ago.
It's a part of.
It's just what it is what I realized is because the development kept going over budget because we've been in development for 10 months. I thought maybe I'd be like 200K in, get it all done. Yeah, it turns out that's no.
With that last question, we can ask the last question about this. What were the problems during development? What problems occurred during this?
It's just because since we're trying to create something that's never been done before, nobody really understood how to code it, how to build it, how to do it, how to integrate it, the smart contracts, the algorithms, all the like crazy back end stuff of making this a thing was very difficult. So that's where we just kept running into delays, and then like certain ways data comes, like there's push data and pull data, and we pull from Sport Radar, and they did push data. And so basically the first time we tried to launch, it pushed every sports score ever all the way back to like 1908 into the network. So it's trying to simulate the score and price movements for all these games ever in history all at the same time. So it just crashed the entire net. So
you built a bespoke, like it's from the ground up. You had to figure it all out.
Yeah. Like I knew nothing about development, blockchain technology, none of this stuff. Like I had to learn all that along the way. And so I brought a partner in because I didn't understand enough on the back end and how to actually implement the idea. I had a great concept, a great idea, but I needed a partner that understood how to really run a team and build it and more of the back end. And so my partner, he's like developed apps before. He's been in projects. He's had multiple companies, and then he also had the finances to supplement where I fell short.
I will say it does seem that you were very aware that innovation, just like your company, is a game changer.
100%. Like that's the thing is like that's what invention is not like something that's gonna happen all the time, but there's always ways to innovate things. So that's where
make things better.
Yeah, like use the same things again. Just all I did was take the stock market's already a thing and sports is already a thing and be like, let's make a stock sports.
Combining the two ideas together.
It's not really like I created a new idea, like.
But you did essentially.
It's just like it's more innovating the industry because like the tokenization industry right now globally is under $1 billion. Okay. But by 2030. Everything's gonna be tokenized. Every piece of real estate, every car, everything of value.
When you say tokenized, what is that for people who don't know?
On the blockchain, the reason we use blockchain technology, other than obviously for legislative purposes and laws, is that the blockchain can have no fraud. That everything is public, everything is shown in real time.
Or something?
I don't even know. Okay. Honestly, like I just know like Bitcoin, everybody's probably heard of that by now.
Got it.
It operates on a blockchain, so every transaction ever done with Bitcoin is all recorded.
Is that mean
smart
tokenized?
Contract, correct?
No, so tokenized is just using blockchain to create a digital asset and then tying it to a real world asset.
So like a car, for example.
Yeah, pretty soon cars will be tokens. Like you'll have a token proving ownership, not a paper title, because again, that can be fraud. You can do fraud.
You can
auto title
rewrite
fraud.
that shit and
like so you can do things. If it's on a blockchain, everybody can see from the day that car was created, every owner it's ever had, everywhere it's ever been is all on the blockchain. You can track
this
it.
paper that you keep.
And to expand on like certification, how do people certify that the bets that they're making through this are legit?
So the way that it works is again because it's all on the blockchain, so it's full transparency. So anybody can look at the public ledger and see that it's been a valid bet. We create a wallet for everybody, so when they buy a team, it transfers to the wallet and they own that. So the wallet is outside of our network. Just like if you were to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, you have a wallet that Coinbase transfers that to. So you have your own personal wallet that isn't owned by Coinbase. It's your wallet. Same concept here is there's a wallet on our platform, but that wallet is an external wallet that whenever you buy a team, you bought it, it goes to your wallet, and you own that until you sell it. So that can never be touched by us. Like, we don't have any access to the network, to the back end. We don't have access to really to anything other than a person's email address. So
Okay, so yeah, that's first off extraordinary. We got to give him a quick round of applause for that. Before we wrap this up, because I truly believe what you're on the verge of doing is going to be monumental, and I think in due time, people real soon are going to like see it all over the news. They're going to see it. We're going to see, instead of it being DraftKings or Caesar's Palace that's up here, it's going to be Game Changer market.
G.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask, like, who are some of the people? I know you mentioned some people that were just interested in covering this like amazing story. You have an incredible story, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but I'm sure based off people who are reaching out to you, who are some of these people that are trying to get after this story?
So whenever we were just, coming up with the idea, I wanted to kind of test, because again, I thought it was a great idea because I came up with it clearly. And then my partner, he's into stocks, crypto, sports betting. So it was right up his alley too. So then I was like, okay, but what about people that are already like successful, that are already in the industries, that are already like big deals, like
Rich.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, do they see value? Because again, from the consumer standpoint, yes, people love sports. People love, putting money into sports.
Right.
But the validity will come from people that they don't, that they already have something monumental they're doing, and then they're like, wow, this is big.
Right.
And I started filling out like different shows and applications and stuff, and I was literally getting accepted to everything. I'm going to go on Beta Blocks, which is an entrepreneur startup show. Well, it's not only startups. There's other like businesses that are in business and stuff, but it's on Amazon Prime. So I'm doing that June 26th in Oklahoma. And then
Beta Blocks.
Kevin Harrington, he has a show called Pitch Your Product. Kevin Harrington, he's one of the billionaires from Shark Tank. He wanted me on the show. He thought it was a brilliant idea, and so that I'm supposed to go on that show. They haven't set a date for it, but it's supposed to be in May. So I'll be on that show. With that, I get to go on Fox News Business. I get to go on Bloomberg TV. Kevin Harrington will be making a video endorsing our product, talking about, Game Changer Markets, a new way to invest in sports or something. So we'll be able to use that for promotional content. I've had a producer that is supposed to reach out about like my story for all the other things, of all the dumb things that I did. It doesn't even have anything to do with this. They don't even know about this. Word. So like, that's the sequel will be out.
Pitch that in there too.
So yeah, and then just different VCs and
documentaries,
like,
movie, anything.
Yeah,
they should have a movie.
That's what the producer's about. That's that because they produce some other big time movies. And then we had a buyout offer in December. That was kind of like a really validation moment as one of the big companies in Vegas. They offered me $6 million basically just for the patents and the technology
to buy you out.
You said no.
Yeah, because honestly, in the last 3 months, I've probably turned down about $40 to $50 million.
Why?
Just because people want to invest so heavily in us. Because the problem is, it's a cursing and a blessing, or curse and a blessing.
Yeah, blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
I like
that the idea is of such magnitude that, because again, we're disrupting. Essentially, we're not a sports betting company. We're a new asset class.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah, we don't do sports betting here. We are an investment vehicle, but we also don't fall under SEC regulations for securities. So we're kind of like this new sector of sports finance that is a financial instrument that's tied to sports. So we're not betting. We don't fall under any betting, gaming, gambling laws.
It's not that, ladies and gentlemen.
We're a financial company and a tech company first. So you look at the industry size of the finance. The global finance industry is $96 trillion. It is the single largest industry in the world. Money.
Yeah.
So we're creating a way for people to invest money into a performing asset that has to do with something that is their own form of entertainment as well. Nobody wants to sit and watch Apple on TV. They don't care. Like, they're not watching Google and Larry Page talk. Right. They're watching, like Patrick Mahomes sling the ball.
Yeah, they're watching Final Four.
Yeah, imagine that you're watching your 401k in the form of athletes. You know, that's the way we.
So if you like investing your money, and you also like sports, Game Changer is the way to go, man.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, so let me ask you something. What's the future plans for Game Changer, and where do you see this in the next 5 years?
So the future plans, I would like. My goal is to take over basically 10% of the sports betting market, which is $400 billion a year. Again, we're not a sports betting company, but we understand that people that sports bet are already used to putting their money into sports. So we just want to target them. Let's just eliminate the finance industry for now. Maybe they come, maybe they don't. But if we can build a 10%, like 1 out of 10 people that are sports bettors, and again, that's not even counting the states where it's illegal to sports bet.
Yeah,
but
Texas, California, Vegas.
Texas, California, Vegas. Yeah, like they can use our platform. My dream scenario is in the next 5 years, every year we build $40 billion in market cap to where we have a $200 billion market cap 5 years from now. Then we're going to release our own cryptocurrency. It's going to be called Curalac, and it'll be a utility token for you to fund and withdraw from our platform. So whenever that's released, it'll be kind of like our way of releasing stock in the company without actually going public, because we don't ever want to be a publicly traded corporation. We want to stay private to where people aren't in our business telling us what to do. Like, you know, like once you go public, like nobody owns DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, MGM. Right. They're on Wall Street. Right. They're corrupt. Like I don't want that. I want us to always be a private corporation, and my goal is to be the largest privately held corporation in the world. I love that. That's the goal.
Damn right. I want to say I truly commend you for that, because it's easy for people in positions like ours to fall victim to opportunity as well.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's a big thing to have an opportunity, but it's another thing to fall victim to opportunity based on your circumstances.
The thing is, a lot of times opportunity is actually not an opportunity. It just seems like one. Like
Right.
For example, I had one person, can't name names, that sat down, basically gave me a blank check, said, I want a third of your company. He's in this crypto world's like finance world, but he came to me with a blank check, said, I want a third of your company. What's it going to cost? He said, just tell me a number. I said, well, what is your net worth? He said, about $350 million. I said, you don't have enough money for a third of my company. I said, I'm sorry. I was like, you can invest, like you can come in, you can help us like debt finance, but we're not getting enough equity. So it's like, again, it's really been hard. Because like I said, my Porsche just got repossessed 3 weeks ago. You know, it's like I'm not doing well at the moment because I'm so heavily invested. But the thing is, I believe in what I'm creating. I believe in the vision. I believe in creating a market that's fully transparent and free that anybody can make money on. Because like I said, 95% of people are losing their ass on these sports books, and it's hurting them. Right. They're not making money, and they get all their friends to do it with them.
So it's like lose with them.
Use this
Yeah,
referral
they're
code.
like, hey, come lose with me. Our platform, people will actually make money. And that's the thing is when people start seeing they're making money, they're going to be like, wow, this is actually a way that I can leverage my finances and build an actual portfolio in the sports world. So that's what I'm trying to create, is a way to where everybody's doing good. Like, I don't want people losing. I don't want people, you know, like, because at the end of the day, even if you're wrong, you still own that team. And in sports, Kansas City Royals last year were one of the worst teams in baseball. And they won like 20 of their last 28 or something.
Because just like we were talking about earlier, like it's like a stock. Like you don't lose until you pull your money.
Exactly. So you just own them. If you hold them for 2 years, and then, you know, the Oakland Athletics last year, this year, horrible. Previous year, they were in the playoffs. They won 101 games or something.
Right.
Baltimore Orioles last year win 100 games. Previous year, they win 35. So it's like if you just hold them, teams go through cycles,
ups and downs all the time.
So that's the thing, is that it's just a way for you to have a more secure investment than just being like, all or nothing, this team's gonna win.
Right.
It's dangerous living that way. So
I think you're really, like we said, I think you're on the verge of doing something very special. The Heat Advisory is absolutely behind you, just as much as you're behind us. I think we gotta end this thing with a bang.
Mm-hmm. What you think about?
I don't know what you think about that. Why don't we do some sort of giveaway? Yeah. You already launched. You're officially live. I know your launch party, you know, in the physical world is coming very soon.
yeah,
Why don't we do a giveaway? What do you think about that?
giveaways are always good.
Okay, so look, I seen you had something going on recently. It was a car that you're gonna be giving away. how you feel about the Heat Advisory joining on the car giveaway?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, look, so let's do it like this. For whoever's watching,
car was it?
right? Hold on, I'm gonna give you the details. For whoever's watching right now, we're gonna give an exclusive to our supporters right now. So what we're gonna do is we're here with Game Changer Market, the CEO himself, Billy. You're here with the Heat Advisory. We're gonna do a car giveaway. Billy here, the CEO of Game Changer, right now has a C63 Mercedes-Benz with a convertible top. Keep in mind, yes, this is a bi-turbo, so it has 2 turbos, right? We're gonna give away the C63, right? Let's do it like that.
Yeah, and if you just put on the where did you hear about us link?
Yeah.
There's a box for it. If you put the Heat Advisory, we'll give you 4 more free entries.
This is what we're gonna do.
So
We're gonna do a commercial for you guys. We're gonna cut the commercial so you can get all of the insights on the C63 giveaway, the rules, the regulations, all the specs on the car. You can find out exactly how to win that C63 in the commercial. Next scene, right?
next scene.
Next scene. Go ahead and check it out, man. We giving away a
Attention,
C63.
attention. Welcome to the Heat Advisory Podcast, where we've recently just partnered with Game Changer Market. Yes, Game Changer Market. We're giving away a C63 Mercedes-Benz AMG Coupe, and it's a convertible. Yes, people have been asking how to enter into the giveaway, so I think we give the rules away, right? Lee, go ahead and give them the rules. Rule 1.
Rule number 1. Sign up using thegamechanger.com, using the Heat Advisory and the referral code to make sure your submissions are tracked. Number 2, spam the comments with a whole bunch of fire emojis. 3, and the most important, follow Game Changer Market and the Heat Advisory. And subscribe.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming in hot. Be sure to follow the rules and enter to get your submissions in as soon as possible. We'll see y'all soon. Let's get it.
Sponsored and powered by Game Changer. If you haven't already, man, make sure you go ahead and follow the Game Changer Market app. They can follow you where? On Instagram?
Yeah,
Where else can they check
at
you
Game
out?
Changer Market on Instagram, at Game Changer Market on TikTok.
And then do you have a website?
Yeah, you could go to www.gamechangermarket.com to actually sign up for an account and create an account and start
We'll put that
investing
right
today.
here. Put the socials right here.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do is we'll also explain exactly, because you're going to give multiple ways to get entries to win the C63, correct?
Yeah,
So we'll tell you exactly the rules, the regulations, how many entries you can receive, and how you can win the C63. So listen, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode 3.
Yes,
We
sir.
obviously had a CEO of Game Changer in the building, and we're going to do it like that, man. We'll
Hey,
see
man,
y'all real
shout out
soon.
Billy.
Shout out to Billy.
Shout out Game
Heat
Changer.
Advisory
Changer.
boys, we out, man. Shout out
sign
Game
up.
Changer. Let's do it. Go sign up right now. So what we gonna do, Billy? Is when you get the car, we're gonna have to come up with a script. So you can we can run like, listen.
I need to win the C63 my baby. I'm putting it in every way. I'm putting it on the app tonight. I'm being serious.
No, I know. He was telling me, he was asking me how to sign up. I was like, we're gonna go through it. We'll have like
Just
a full
look for my name.
commercial.
I know you're strong as hell in 6'6". Just look for my name.
So it's being done by a third-party company, but the thing is we're eventually going to be giving away a G-Wagon every day.
My bitch needs a G-Wagon. That's what
So,
I got.
bro, I told you we're gonna partner with
I'm
bro.
not spending no money on it.
Let's do a quick picture. I think we all sit on the same couch.
I'll give him 20 G's. Just put me in the industry.
Just buy and sell teams. Like, literally. Because buy and sell teams. Every time you buy or sell a team, you get another entry.
I'm gonna get on that tonight. That's what I got. I am.
Yeah, because the thing is,
Because I'm tired of losing my
You
whole
started on that
$1,000.
minimum investment. Minimum investment.
just whatever the cheapest team is.
I'm gonna invest about 250.
So like one share basically.
$20, like just
Okay.
$16 for them. So I put $100 2 days ago. I'm at 232 right now. It's like what's cool is I can use it too because I'm not betting against myself or anything. Just like it's like if I own FanDuel and I gamble against it, if I win I lose. But on this, like I said, I'm just playing against other people.
Hey, real quick, so I can go
So it's
pee.
like-
You know, gotta toast the water bottle or something.
That's a water
But what we'll do is let's say.
Come on, that's what it is.
Bring the safe, fam. Bring the old joke. You don't gotta hold it. Just throw it right here. Or just bring the shot. You right. Just bring the shot. Take it away. I'm not bringing that old fucking drink. Quick.
You're not gonna even hold it.
I do 2, folks.
Nah, you don't need it.
I ain't gonna peer pressure you.
You ready? All right, man. We gonna celebrate the episode 3. It's your favorite number, right?
3 is my number.
3's the number, man. We here with the Heat Advisory, man.
My nigga's lucky
It's a
three, did
success,
everything 3
man.
times.
Hey, cheers to you and your blessings this 2024.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna change the game,
We're
baby.
gonna change the
We're
market,
gonna change the
man.
game.
And I'm
Game
getting
changer.
G-Wagon and C63 on my baby.
Hey, let's go.
It's not a game.
I love it. I love it. All right, I'm gonna take a piss. We'll do solo shots, and then we need a group shot before we go. All right.